speech.
John James of Michigan speaking.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. There's been a lot of talk about history over the last few days. And 1856 was the last time it took longer than the votes we're having right now to find a Speaker of the House. 133 over 2 months. Without question, the issues divide us today are much less severe than they were in 1856. In fact, there's far more that unite us than divide us, regardless of our political party or our ideology. The issues today are over a few rules and personalities, while the issues at that time were about slavery and whether the value of a man who looks like me was 60% or 100% of a human being. It was a long, drawn-out, painful process, but it needed to happen. And in the end, Nathaniel Banks won by the slimmest of margins. But you know, margins don't matter when your policies are on the right side of history. On that day, long ago, the good guys won. On that day, long ago, the abolitionists won. On that day, the people who believe in freedom and self-determination won. The leading Republican nominee won then, and the leading Republican nominee will win again today. Since then, our nation's made a lot of progress. That includes families like mine. My family's gone from slave to the floor of the United States House of Representatives, being the first member of his freshman class to speak in a series of 5 generations. My family has gone from slave to right here since 1856. My father and mother born in the 1940s and 1950s in the Jim Crow South, and my dad lived directly across the street from a school he couldn't go to because he was black. He started a business with 1 truck, 1 trailer, no excuses, with the help of his wife, and now his son stands here on the precipice of taking back the majority for the American people and taking this nation in the right direction. Yeah. I'm a freshman. I've only been here for a couple days, but I've heard a lot of D.C. politicians tell me about how broken D.C. is. I don't need D.C. politicians to tell me how broken D.C. is. The American people have already told us how broken D.C. is by giving Republicans the majority so we can fix this mess. We will counter the socialist movement of envy and confiscation with a conservative movement of access and opportunity. We will stand on the right side of history again. We will end the growth of government, and we will stop 87,000 new IRS agents from picking through your pocketbooks. We will secure our energy independence. We will ban the sale of petroleum from our strategic reserves to China. We'll establish a bipartisan select committee specifically to keep our eye on the ball in China. We'll address the crisis at the border that's killing Americans by the day and improve both our safety and our nation and our dignity for those who come here in search of a better life. But not yet. We're still stuck at the starting block. The American people have told us by putting a Republican majority here that they want Republicans to lead, and they want a government that works and doesn't embarrass them, and we are failing on both missions. That must change today. It will change. Benjamin Franklin said, "We must hang together or must assuredly hang separate." We're stuck in a malaise, at an impasse, and we will stay here. We will not be able to fight the real conservative fights until we find a way to come together and fight that mission together. Yesterday, we experienced very briefly our first win. It's a small victory. It's a small victory. It was a small victory, but didn't it feel good? We've been working hard for that victory, and there's much more to come. As a cadet at West Point, I learned the phrase, and it's always been my motto throughout life: mission first, people always. And right now, the people are left out. Right now, they don't have a Congress to speak for them at the highest level of government. Right now, every individual in this room can concede that the rounds that we've taken is not what we told our constituents we'd do. We told them that we would fight the opioid crisis. For perspective, there's a hallowed monument that my father took me to. My father's a Vietnam veteran. This monument is a total length of 500 feet, nearly 2 football fields. It's 10 feet high, and the letters are only a ½ inch. 58,000 names. 58,000 names for a war that lasted years. According to the CDC, in 2021, we lost almost twice as many people as we lost in Vietnam to overdoses. We've lost 600 Americans to overdoses since Tuesday, y'all. We're talking about the debt rising. You can't count how many dollars we spent of our great-grandchildren's money since Tuesday. The work we promised the American people we would do, we're welching on that promise. But I have hope. I have hope that we'll be able to come together, unify, and put the right person in leadership. From many one, e pluribus unum. I'm standing here today because I'm the 7th to stand up in support of Kevin McCarthy for Speaker. He's earned my trust. The first time we met was in his office under the watchful gaze of a Frederick Douglass painting. And he told me in that office, on the eve of the 2019 State of the Union address, that there's nothing that could be said or done during that address that embarrassed him more than the fact that when the Democrat side stood up, they would look more like the United States of America than we did. And he set out not to compromise our values, not to compromise our ideology, but to work harder to make sure that more people with diverse perspectives and different lived experiences could be here. In the very next election, he won 14 seats, up from 199. And all the seats he won were with minorities, women, and veterans. The very next cycle, this next cycle, he won, and me and my good buddy and classmate Wes Hunt helped double the number of black Republicans in the Republican Congress. Look, y'all, we have a long way to go, but we've come so far. We've come so far, and we can't quit. We can't quit. You don't fire a guy who's winning. And when you look at the governor's mansions and the legislatures we've lost across the country just this past cycle, and when you look at the gains that Kevin McCarthy has made uphill, getting the gavel as a minority leader in half the time, you know, the mainstream media likes to laud the leadership of Nancy Pelosi. Kevin McCarthy won the gavel back as minority leader in half the time uphill. We want to talk about people who can win? Well, I'm a Lions fan, and that's right. Look, I'm well acquainted with snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. Y'all, we need to learn how to win. We need to learn how to take a victory. And by Kevin McCarthy's leadership, he's given us victories on rules. He's given us victories on keeping costs down. He's given us victories with winning a majority back. I'm so proud to be a part of the majority-making class, and he's earned my trust. And hopefully he'll earn your trust. And he's got 90% of us in the conference. When is the last time any of us had 90% approval ratings? Kevin McCarthy, you're going to see up there, has over 90% approval ratings. If you really want to start making history, let's do it the right way. We need a conservative fighter to help this country get back on the right track. But the first thing we need to do is elect Leader McCarthy as Speaker of the House. I'm ready to make history, and I know you are. I'm excited to work with each and every single one of you because we have a job to do. So at the direction of the Republican Conference, I advance the name of Kevin McCarthy as Speaker of the House for the 118th Congress.
John James of Michigan nominating Kevin McCarthy on the House floor, and lots of people applauding, of course. We're going to hear now from a Democrat who's going to speak on the behalf of Hakeem Jeffries, putting his name in the hat again, and then the voting commences after this.
Does the gentleman from California rise?
Madam Clerk, I rise to nominate Hakeem Jeffries of New York for Speaker of this House.
The gentleman is recognized.
Madam Clerk, I speak on behalf of the Democratic Caucus when I say that there is no victory in adjourning without doing the business of the people. Madam Clerk, House Democrats are united behind a champion of expanding and protecting the right to vote. Since the beginning of 2021, 21 state legislatures have passed 42 restrictive voting laws. Hakeem has stood up against voter suppression and the new Jim Crow era every step of the way. As we begin a new Congress, we need a leader who believes in strengthening democracy, who understands that to cast a vote is a sacred responsibility that should be afforded to the many, not the privilege for the select few. Hakeem understands that in order for us to become a more perfect union, we can't deny the voices of individuals in a democratic process. Madam Clerk, today we affirm our support of the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act and nominate Madam Clerk, and that's why I am directed by the Democratic Caucus to advance the name of Hakeem Jeffries from New York as Speaker.
For what purpose does the gentleman from North Carolina rise?
Madam Clerk, I rise to place in nomination the name of Byron Donalds of Florida.
The gentleman is recognized.
I want to begin by saying how much I have anticipated the gentleman from Michigan's arrival in this House, not in the Senate, not in the old staid, unchanging Senate, but in the House where we make change. Yesterday, we could have elected the first black Speaker of the United States House of Representatives. Bring it. Hear me clearly. Hear me clearly. Had the cascade of votes begun, it would have extended to every member of this body. It could begin today. Last night, I sat within feet of Mr. Donalds as the tweet of another member-elect appeared on the screen. That member-elect wrote and sent out to America that Byron Donalds is a prop. I've spent a good bit of time with Mr. Donalds, especially lately. He ain't no prop. And if he were a prop, he wouldn't be sitting where he's sitting. This is the tired, old, grotesquely racist rhetoric that we've seen far too long. Today, a member-elect quote tweeted a Fox News story that incorrectly reported that I said that if I don't prevail on the question before the House, I will resign. That member-elect quote tweeted that incorrect story for his own political purposes after the story had been corrected and the actual statement contradicting that report had been provided. This is the old trafficking in lies from Washington that the American people know far too well. And by the way, I'm not leaving. Kevin McCarthy released to the public on New Year's Eve a document entitled Restoring the People's House and Ending Business as Usual. To his great credit, Mr. McCarthy made a statement of huge significance to the country. The nominal leader of a major party acknowledged publicly that this institution is broken, and he committed to make change to fix it. So let me help my colleagues in the minority understand. We are doing the people's business. That's what these 3 days have been about. 3 days. We are committed to make change to this institution that has lost its way. It is epitomized in the $1.7 trillion omnibus rammed through this institution just 2 weeks ago. You see, ladies and gentlemen, I came to fix this broken system. America has seen that problem for a very long time, too. The commitment to change it is new. The genesis of the prospect of changing it emerges from this moment and those since June that led at long last to the New Year's Eve statement of Mr. McCarthy and to these 3 days on the floor. America needs men and women of courage to do something new in Congress so that Congress can serve the American people. The Lord said, "Behold, I do a new thing." We need more Byron Donaldses. I know Byron. He's not a prop. He's a man of personal conviction. He arrived at his convictions through authentic and genuine life experience. People ask me, what is the end game? How does this end? The answer to this question is that this is a dynamic process. All of the decisions on this floor result from the coming together of minds, one way or another. This is the people's business. We will resolve the people's business. And when we do, we will go to the mat for the American people. Because we will be led by people of conviction, like the gentleman from Florida, Byron Donalds. I yield back.
You've been listening to the speeches delivered before the vote commenced on the floor for the House Speaker. Lots of interesting things happening. It looks as though Kevin McCarthy is going to fail this seventh vote, but guess who Matt Gaetz cast his vote for on the House floor? Donald Trump. We are going to cover this all here in the Annie Frey Show as the regular show commences here in just a few minutes. So don't go anywhere. You're listening to St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Live breaking coverage of the pursuit for a Speaker of the House and the new Republican majority. You're listening to it right here on 97.1 FM Talk.
Breaking news. 97.1. Covering it live.
Mark Cox here. Join me, Annie Frey, and Mark Reardon, along with Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw for the next Protecting Your Retirement educational event. It's Tuesday, January 24th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Seats are limited, so go online today at retirementkey.com. Here's Thomas with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and concerned about losing even more money this year in your retirement accounts? Did you know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can now roll over your 401k tax-free to protect your nest egg from any more losses and still generate more income than most investment options? Would you like to know why our clients have not lost a penny with all the market volatility this past year? You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 and a half or older, you don't want to miss this event.
Join the official financial advisors of my show, Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw, Tuesday, January 24th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Help us map the broadband gap. Missouri's Office of Broadband wants to connect all Missourians to reliable, high-speed internet. But we need to know who doesn't have access. Go to ded.mo.gov/getconnected to check the FCC map and see if you are listed correctly. Don't wait. Go to ded.mo.gov/getconnected today. Brought to you by the Missouri Department of Economic Development.
Southern Armory, your Second Amendment headquarters, keeping in the most popular ammo and firearms on today's market. Can't find what you want? Have us order at Southern Armory, 9901 Watson Road, 1 mile east of 270 and 44, and southernarmory.com. That's southernarmory.com.
97.1 FM Talk.
Talk radio, and I love politics.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
I love it.
Everyone is welcome.
Seventh time isn't the charm. I'm Matt Napolitano, Fox News. It appears Kevin McCarthy has lost a seventh consecutive vote in his pursuit to become House Speaker, failing to reach the 218 votes needed to take the seat, as some of his fellow Republicans continue to fraction off in support of Byron Donalds for Speaker.
We are committed to make change to this institution that has lost its way.
North Carolina Congressman-elect Dan Bishop nominating Donalds on the House floor. The House is expected to head to an eighth vote on this third day of voting for Speaker. President Biden says Congress has failed to pass a comprehensive immigration plan to address the surge of migrants at the southern border.
The failure to pass and fund this comprehensive plan has increased the challenges that we're seeing at our southwest border.
The president speaking earlier today. Among proposals from the Biden administration, the expansion of a parole program for migrant groups from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. It was announced President Biden will head to El Paso, Texas Sunday to assess the situation at the border himself.
Right before President Biden took office in 2020, there were about 458,000 border encounters a year. That grew to 1.73 million in the president's first year and 2.37 million in the second year. Officials here, right on up to the president, have said immigration has always been a priority, with the president putting forward a plan shortly after inauguration. It just hasn't been the top priority. That's been the economy the whole time, which officials believe polls show people want them putting first.
Fox's Peter Doocy at the White House. Vladimir Putin ordering Russian forces to observe a 36-hour ceasefire in Ukraine this weekend. This in order to celebrate the Orthodox Christmas holiday. It's the first such sweeping truce move by the Kremlin in the nearly 11-month-old war. America's listening to Fox News.
Make a New Year's resolution that's easy to keep. Help protect your identity and finances with LifeLock Identity Theft Protection. LifeLock detects identity threats you may miss on your own. And if you become a victim, LifeLock will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses. But LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself. Join now and save up to 25% off your first year. Go to LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS.
President Trump has announced, and Ron DeSantis is rising fast. Who do you support for 2024? Newsmax wants to know what you think. Vote in the Newsmax poll. Just text the word RESPOND to 39747. That's RESPOND to 39747. It takes just seconds. Text RESPOND to 39747. Let your voice be heard and watch Newsmax today. Texting enrolls for automated text messages. Message and data rates may apply.
Pennsylvania Democratic Senator Bob Casey has announced he will undergo surgery for prostate cancer, but he is expected to make a full recovery. Casey revealing in a statement that he was diagnosed last month and his treatment plan will allow him to continue working in the Senate with minimal disruption. South Carolina's highest court will decide whether electrocution and shooting are acceptable forms of execution.
South Carolina has no more supply of lethal injection drugs and hasn't executed a death row inmate in 12 years. And now officials are asking the state Supreme Court if it would be okay to use the electric chair or firing squads to carry out death sentences. The state passed a law in 2021 authorizing those older methods, but the death penalty activist group Justice 360 is suing, saying it causes pain and is therefore cruel and unusual punishment. Eben Brown, Fox News.
Mercedes is recalling over 300,000 vehicles in the U.S. over stalling engines.
324,000 2012 to 2020 M and G-Class Mercedes vehicles are being recalled because the engines can stall while they're being driven. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration pointing to water accumulation in the spare tire wheel well and damage to the fuel pump control unit as the problem. Mercedes says owners will be notified starting next month for a free fix, that it's aware of almost 800 reports and warranty claims surrounding the issue, but that it's not aware of any crashes or injuries caused by the defect. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
The XFL has finalized its schedule ahead of its return to action next month. The Vegas Vipers and Arlington Renegades will kick off a third go-around for the Football League on February 18th. It'll be the first of 4 games set for opening weekend. I'm Matt Napolitano. This is Fox News.
You've listened to 97.1 FM Talk. You've heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial and Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple as the financial expert on the station for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend right here on 97.1 FM Talk. And you can talk to Doug Voss directly. Here's his number. Call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through D.H. Hill Securities, LLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
Cancer can feel like something we can't do anything about. But you can. There are screening tests that can catch cancer early when it may be easier to treat. Begin cervical screening at age 25. At 45, start colorectal and breast screening. At 50, discuss lung screening with a doctor. Find resources for free and low-cost screening at cancer.org/getscreened. This is a public service message from the American Cancer Society.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Chilly times to be out and about on this Thursday afternoon. A little bit on the windy side with that a mix of clouds and sunshine. 39-40, that's it for the high. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, the winds fade, but it's a cold night down to 28. Friday, sunny and 45. Saturday, still expecting a couple of rain showers from time to time, mainly on the light side, and 48. Clearing skies Sunday. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
With inflation on the rise, you may be charging more to your credit card. But be careful. That increased debt can cause your credit score to suffer.
Don't get stuck with a low credit score and a mountain of high-interest credit card debt. Call Golden Oak Lending now.
Refinance with our low rates to wipe out your high-interest credit card debt and put extra cash in your pocket. Call 314-567-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
NMLS 114937.
Well, the new year is here, and it's time to take advantage of Zero Res's best deal of the year. Carpets, tiles, rugs, upholstery, basically every surface in your home can be Zero Resified. So it's time to call the cleaning pros at Zero Res. Don't forget your air ducts either to help alleviate allergies or asthma. It's very important to enjoy less dust, lower energy bills, and your home is going to stay cleaner longer. If you book with Zero Res and you book and clean in January only, you get 23% off all services for 2023. If your home had a New Year's resolution, it would be to get clean. Let's face it. Zero Res has a 4.9 rating on Google with over 4,300 reviews, and the Zero Res 30-day Gotta Love It guarantee makes it easy to get what you pay for. I love them. They've been in my home many, many times. I trust professionals at Zero Res. It's a smarter, lasting clean. And ask for the Mark Reardon special for the 2023 January sale. 23% off all services. Don't put it off. Schedule your appointment today at ZeroResSTL.com or call 314-474-2020. Online at ZeroResSTL.com.
Brought to you by General Steel. If you're a business owner, renting or leasing, you can save a ton of money and own a custom-designed building made by General Steel. Just call 888-74-STEEL and get a quote today.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Gates.
Donald John Trump.
So there you have Matt Gaetz, the rabble-rouser that Matt Gaetz has been, casting his vote on the 7th ballot for the speakership for Donald Trump. Welcome into the Annie Frey Show. We're glad you're here with us on St. Louis's home for conservative talk, 97.1 FM Talk. And the 7th ballot has commenced, and Kevin McCarthy is not going to get the necessary votes on this ballot to become the speaker. And so we will wait and see what they do next with another ballot. And we've been streaming this live. You can go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel to watch along. We're going to keep the votes as they come in up there if you want to watch it. And you can stream us on the Odyssey app. If you're coming and going, you go onto the Odyssey app, AUDACY, download it, follow 97.1 FM Talk, and take us with you anywhere you go. Interesting to watch as this continues to unfold and we see explanations of what the disagreements are and what needs to happen and will these people ever vote for Kevin McCarthy or not. You listen to Matt Gaetz stand up today after yesterday, the dissenting votes for Kevin McCarthy, they all went to Byron Donalds. Matt Gaetz has been pretty much the ringleader, I would say, of these 20 or so members who have defected from supporting Kevin McCarthy. And people wonder if any of these folks are going to break.
He's a desperate guy whose vote share is dropping with every subsequent vote, and I'm ready to vote all night, all week, all month, and never for that person. So I tell you what, when he comes out and heads back to his squatting in the speaker's office, which why is he even allowed to be there?
So did you see where Matt Gaetz officially sent an official letterhead? Was it to the architect? Like the congressional, I don't know. Who's the keeper of the office of the Speaker of the House? It's not Nancy Pelosi anymore, so I'm here to deliver that positive news for you. He goes and sends a letter and says that Kevin McCarthy apparently has already moved into the Speaker's office. That may be a little premature, and Matt Gaetz wanted to call him on that. So telling him to vacate, and Matt Gaetz is completely committed. Matt Gaetz can stay never Kevin McCarthy this entire time. The problem is that there are 20 people who are voting against Kevin McCarthy. He can only lose 4. I have a feeling that Matt Gaetz will not be persuaded to support Kevin McCarthy at any cost. However, those other members who have dissented from Kevin McCarthy, I think there are members there that could move over to the Kevin McCarthy side. I'm reading a lot. I'm watching a lot. I'm consuming a lot. And I still have yet, Brad and I have discussed this a little bit, Brad, I still have yet to really understand from the dissenting 20, of which people are talking about them being in the Freedom Caucus. Well, the truth is that the Freedom Caucus is much larger than 20 people.
Yeah.
And the majority of the Freedom Caucus is voting in favor of Kevin McCarthy.
Yeah. The Freedom Caucus has gotten pretty much everything that they've wanted.
And so it's not right to say, like, I support the Freedom Caucus, therefore I'm against Kevin McCarthy.
Right.
Because the plurality, the majority of the Freedom Caucus supports Kevin McCarthy.
Right.
So I'm watching, I'm consuming, and I'm like, I really want to understand what the dissent is from these 20. Why not Kevin McCarthy? Give me a good reason. Because my opinion, and I understand many people's are different, the Speaker of the House has to take everybody in the Republican Party and get them together.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if he can't do that to get elected, that's obviously a problem. But you're not going to have somebody who becomes the Speaker of the House who is going to likely look and think exactly like you do on every conservative point, because they have to coalesce people, and there's no room for error with this very slim majority, which I think is probably one of the concerns that is being espoused about Kevin McCarthy, that the majority should be much bigger. But Brad, if you look at the elections that Kevin McCarthy has, been the party leader in, he's gained a lot of seats.
Yeah.
And overperformed in earlier elections. And what I think a lot of people are saying is he's underperformed in this last one.
Yeah, I like you said, I don't know what it is that they want. I mean, he's done a good job. If you look at it, I don't know if he's underperformed or not. I mean, if you look at the House popular vote, the Republicans won the House popular vote as well. Mm-hmm. They didn't just win seats. They picked up seats. They took back the House. They won the House popular vote. They've got a slim majority, which is what we're seeing why this is such an issue.
Is that Kevin McCarthy's fault?
I don't think so. I think that there are just candidates that underperformed. What is there, 400 and some odd?
35.
435.
434 people voting because there's one vacancy. But there are 435 representatives in the House. The Republicans have 222. Democrats have 218. Or 213.
I don't know how it's on the Speaker of the House or the House, the leader, the House Majority Leader, House Minority Leader, whatever he was at the time. I don't know how it's on him to make sure that all 400 or all 200 and some odd, or well, I guess 400 some odd of his races are won. That's a big ask. He really,
it comes down to fundraising,
right,
and fund allocation.
Fund allocation. Okay.
People, I really feel like Kevin McCarthy is catching the aftershocks of Mitch McConnell and Ronna McDaniel.
Mm-hmm. I'd give you that.
I feel like there has been less than stellar Republican representation from both of those individuals. This last election saw a lot of conflicts about what monies were going where. Insert Donald Trump into the mix, who picked a lot of very strong, very victorious Republican primary winners that didn't all go on to perform as we had hoped, and as I really think that they should have, in the actual midterm election in November. There's a lot of questions about, specifically in Arizona, why did people not back these candidates more strongly, more confidently, with more money? Questions to be asked about the Republican Party as a whole, about the person who is in charge of all of those Senate decisions about where money goes. That's Mitch McConnell.
Mm-hmm.
There's also questions about where Donald Trump allocated money, how much money he raised, and how much money was pushed into these elections. I'm a big fan of you question everybody. I'm looking at all of you going, what did you do? Don't tell me about what they did. Tell me what you did. Tell me what you didn't do, and tell me why you didn't do it. But we're all doing the Spider-Man thing, the GIF, or whatever, the meme, where you got 4 Spider-Man or 3 Spider-Man standing in a room, and they're all pointing at each other. That's what the Republican Party is right now. Byron Donalds was nominated yesterday, and he swooped up all of those majority votes for speakership. And I think people are pretty intrigued by that. But I'm not like super pro Kevin McCarthy, but I don't see from the 20 why I want to participate in stalling the whole thing yet. Listen to Representative Byron Donalds.
I think the path is very difficult right now for Kevin. But look, at the end of the day, what I want to make sure is that we elect the Speaker of the House and we go on and accomplish the business that the American people sent us here to do. We know the issues. We have a porous border. We're massively in debt. Purchasing power for the American families has been crippled under this administration, and we want to fix all those problems. But one of the core issues we have is that Washington is broken. The House does not function. And so we want to see a process where power is actually devolved back to the members of Congress so that they can do the job on behalf of the people who sent them here, so we can actually start the process of fixing the issues that are ailing every American. Now, coming back to the speakership vote, my intentions is to make sure that we get a speaker elected and that we start this process. It may be me, it may not be me, but those are my intentions.
So Representative Byron Donalds, he's black, he's from Florida, he's a Republican. Cori Bush yesterday came out and made an incredibly reprehensible tweet about Byron Donalds. Now, Cori Bush, of course, is potentially your representative in Congress right now. Yeah, I know. Let that sink in for a minute, which is one of my least favorite phrases in the world. When Cori Bush speaks on something, it feels like at this point you almost always know, I know where this is going. I know where she's coming at with this, because Cori Bush has a very consistent message, and it's often based in race. Now, she has a lot of people in her district, in her constituency, that I'm sitting in right now that need her help, that need her representation in Congress. Something needs to change here in St. Louis to help the people who she represents. Byron Donalds is a Republican black man who was nominated yesterday to be the Speaker of the House. That is not insignificant. Hakeem Jeffries is a black man who was nominated to be the Speaker of the House on behalf of the Democrats and has been multiple times. He is the leader of the now minority party in the House of Representatives. We have two individuals right now that have been nominated to be the Speaker of the House, both black men from two different parties. That is a great time to be alive in the United States of America, to be celebrated. But not if you're Congresswoman Cori Bush. Her tweet, for what it's worth, Byron Donalds is not a historic candidate for Speaker. He is a prop. Despite being black, he supports a policy agenda intent on upholding and perpetuating white supremacy. His name being in the mix is not progress, it's pathetic. I did not know that Cori Bush was in possession of Byron Donalds' black card. I did not know that he should be more adherent to the racial propagations of Cori Bush's whims than he should to the constituency in Florida that elected a black Republican to represent them. Who the hell is Cori Bush to dictate who and what Byron Donalds is to represent? Is he to be more beholden to a racial expectation of Cori Bush's based on the color of his skin than on the content of his character that got him elected to the United States House of Representatives? And he's made such an impression on the people there that they said, you should be the Speaker of the House. There is a racist here, and her name is Cori Bush. It's unbelievable to think that somebody would say, despite being black. Think about what that means when Cori Bush tweets that. It's disgusting. And she should be called out vehemently by her own party for relegating a man who was elected to the same office that she is elected, a man who campaigned and who won an election to represent constituents of all different races, of all walks of life in Florida. Byron Donalds deserves the same respect that she does for being elected in her district, and she should be the first to give it to him. Shame on her. You should call her out every opportunity you get if she is to espouse the racism that she says she fights against. Pretty disappointing, Cori Bush. Pretty disappointing. When we come back, Hans von Spakovsky is going to join us. I see questions coming through on the live chat throughout the course of these days that we've been covering this, and they're saying, what happens if nobody votes? What is the speaker? Who could be the speaker? Could a Democrat be a speaker? How could that all happen? Well, what are your questions about what is taking place right now? The constitutionality of this process. What does the speaker even get to do? What powers are given to the person who holds that gavel? Well, we'll talk to a constitutional expert. Hans, when we come back, leave your comments, questions that you might have on the Annie Frey YouTube live chat, and go vote in the YouTube live chat poll. Who do you support for speaker? Is it Kevin McCarthy, Hakeem Jeffries, Byron Donalds, or someone else? Leave your comments. We'll be back in just a minute.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
100 years to live.
Hey guys, Glover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalanceHealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
So I want to talk to you about Slim 180 online at myslim180.com. Weight loss is the number one resolution for people who are, trying to get their life in order, trying to get to a healthy weight. Slim 180 can help you with that problem. It has been my go-to when it comes to weight loss. If it's been post-baby or COVID, let's be real, a lot of us have put on some weight over the course of staying home and inside for so long. Maybe now is the time. The Slim 180 team has one-on-one counseling for you. It's helped me. I know it can help you. You can sit down and talk to them about an individual weight loss plan. They're going to customize this for you. They're going to listen to your needs, your things that trip you up, how you got to where you are. What's your goal? 15 pounds lost by March, by spring, bikini ready by maybe April or May. You can do it with Slim 180. I want you to reach out to them, mention the Annie Frey Show. Through January, you're going to receive a free appetite suppressant at the end of your free consultation. So no commitment. Get an appointment today. They are booking fast. You can go to myslim180.com.
Need a break from the sound bites and the talking heads? Do you want information you can actually use? Information that'll change your life for the better? Then listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show.
Listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-777-1979. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-777-1979. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-777-1979. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-777-1979. 800-777-1979.
The Med Spa at the Institute of Natural Health understands how difficult it is to maintain healthy skin and how much this can affect someone's life. With the right combination of treatments and products, they can help you keep your skin looking healthy and more youthful, while also reducing and preventing damage. Take your first step towards healthy skin at the Med Spa at the Institute of Natural Health. Visit them at inhstl.com or call to schedule at 314-293-8123. That's 314-293-8123.
I'm Howard Mackler of GetRefunds.com. You may have heard me talk about the payroll tax refund program that gives businesses up to $26,000 for every employee they kept on payroll during COVID. But today, I'm not going to do the talking. I'm letting a real Get Refunds client tell you everything. I'm Evan, owner of Laveau DWI Law. I heard about the payroll tax refund and GetRefunds.com on the radio. When COVID hit my business, everything shut down. Revenue, phone calls, all business. The new cost of operating during COVID hit hard too. I had to personally fund my business. GetRefunds.com got me approved for a payroll tax refund, and with that money, allowed me to recoup losses and costs, even where I had positive income in the later quarters of COVID recovery. If you have a business, you should go to GetRefunds.com and start your claim right now. GetRefunds.com helped their business, and we can help yours too. Go to GetRefunds.com and see if you qualify in just 8 minutes. GetRefunds.com, powered by Innovation Refunds.
If you're a fan of 97.1, get a t-shirt. Visit 971talk.com/merch to see all the new t-shirt designs and show your support for St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow.
I'm way to the battle. We're not that far away. We only need 11 more votes to win. So I think from a whole perspective, if you talk to everybody, it's not that far away.
We the people of the United States,
More perfect.
in order to form a more perfect union.
Heritage legal expert Hans von Spakovsky.
We welcome Hans von Spakovsky onto the show. As he mentioned there, the senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation, a constitutional expert, I might say. Hans, welcome back to the show. Lots to talk about these days.
Yeah, there sure is, and we're still watching a ongoing contest in the House of Representatives.
So I'm going to ask you the most basic question possible, and you take it wherever you think that you want people to know. What does the Speaker of the House do?
Well, the Speaker of the House has a lot of power, and that's, in fact, part of the issue here. The Speaker of the House is the person who assigns members of the House to various committees. So if you want to be on the House Judiciary Committee, for example, you have to get the Speaker to appoint you. If you want to be the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, that person is chosen by the Speaker of the House. But in fact, that is what is going on with this fight in the House. And let me explain this, because I think a lot of people don't understand what's going on, and they think that these 20 people, but particularly people like Chip Roy, representative from Texas, who I know, are somehow doing something wrong. No, they're not. What Chip Roy has been trying to do is devolve some of the power from the Speaker of the House. And what I mean by that is, in the last couple of decades, the Speaker has gotten more and more and more power. And they are trying to devolve that power back down to the committees and the chairs of the committees. A good example of this, which is really important to the oversight function, is that a House committee that is investigating, say, the FBI or the Justice Department, they can't issue subpoenas for witnesses who refuse to show up unless the Speaker of the House agrees and lets them do it. That is the opposite of the way the rule used to be. There are also rules that allow right now the Speaker to bottle up pieces of legislation and not get them down to the floor. And they're trying to, what Chip Roy and these other dissenters are trying to do is to change those rules so that the Speaker of the House can't stop or bottle up, for example, an oversight investigation that he doesn't want to have to go forward. And I actually think that's a good thing.
We're speaking with Hans von Spakovsky with the Heritage Foundation. Hans, so you're saying that this has changed over time. Where was this consolidation of power? I mean, a lot of people listening probably are assuming it's Nancy Pelosi, but I bet it probably is quite a bit deeper than that.
Oh yeah, no, this wasn't limited to her. She did even more on that scale. But no, prior Republican speakers like John Boehner and others also did the same thing, and so that's why you have this going on now. For folks who don't know the history of this, the last time there was a series of votes like this where they couldn't come up with a speaker was almost 100 years ago, 1923. And in 1923, there were 9 different ballots before they finally got a speaker. But for those who are criticizing this and thinking, oh, it's somehow embarrassing, no, actually, the way I look at it is maybe this finally means that it's not going to be business as usual in the new Congress, that for the first time we have people standing up and saying, no, we don't want rules in place that are going to be the same, so that everything is done the same as it has been for years, and that will lead to things like the omnibus $1.7 trillion wasteful spending bill that just got pushed through Congress.
I hear a lot of the people who are standing up on the House floor nominating Kevin McCarthy. I've seen it in a lot of interviews that have, happened in between votes and in the primetime shows, talking about how much the Freedom Caucus has been asking of Kevin McCarthy. Concessions, compromises, or just generally agreements. This is how we're going to do things, including that motion to vacate, lowering that threshold. And the McCarthy side, and a lot of people who I trust, and I don't really know I don't know which dog I have in this fight yet. A lot of concessions have been made and agreements have been made on Kevin McCarthy's part. At least that's what they're advocating for. And like I said, it's from people who I agree with. Are there stickler issues right now that you notice that the speaker is still holding on to? Kevin McCarthy saying, nope, I draw the line there, that you feel he hasn't gone far enough?
No, I don't really know, because a lot of this is being kept under the vest. We aren't getting a lot of details. I mean, I know generally what it is they're looking for, the changes that they're trying to get made to the rules, which include they want 2 seats on the Rules Committee, because it's the Rules Committee in the House that really directs and coordinates the movement of bills and things like that through there. So I don't know. Look, there are different folks involved in this. On the one hand, there are a core of people who really are well-intentioned, well-meaning. They're trying to get the rules changed. I think there are other folks who are more interested in getting publicity over what they're doing. It's not a completely united front in getting this done. But I think, the last time I checked, they still hadn't picked a speaker. I think they eventually will. It probably will be Kevin McCarthy, but it'll be once they get the kind of rule changes and they get it in a form that he can't back out of somewhere down the road if he suddenly decides it's convenient.
So I see, I myself am tempted to do this, to pick a side and you turn it into a sporting event, as an entertainment value to watch and see what's going to happen next, who's going to budge first, a massive staring contest. We've got 20 people. It looks like, I think maybe this last vote, 19 people voted for Byron Donalds. 1 person voted for somebody else. That would be Matt Gaetz, nominated Donald Trump, and 1 person who voted present. A lot of questions around this process. It seems unusual. The idea that they're all congressmen-elect right now. Is there a Speaker of the House? Are the people who were in the last Congress still in Congress until the new one is sworn in? And Dawn on our YouTube page says, I guess I don't understand how this voting goes. Just keep voting till everyone votes for Kevin? What's your response to that, Hans?
Well, no, they keep voting until they elect a speaker. And while it's been 100 years since they actually had a contested speakership and they had nine ballots, if you look further back in our history, if you look further back into the 1800s, there were times when it took months. There were battles for months before they finally got a speaker that everyone agreed to put in. Like I said, I hope this doesn't go on for a lengthy amount of time, but I think this is actually healthy because I guess I said before, and I don't want to repeat myself, but I think it's important for people to understand. I think this might be a sign that it's not going to be business as usual, which means Republicans going along with Democrats and, maybe not spending as much money as Democrats would, but still constantly increasing the budget and driving the country into bankruptcy.
Man, we're speaking with Hans von Spakovsky right now. He's a senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation. I have to always kind of remind myself that as a political nerd myself and watching this take place, it's very fascinating to me. We've talked about, you walk into the grocery store, you talk to past 20 people. How many of them know that we don't have a Speaker of the House right now? It's probably not very many, but it is incredibly consequential to the future of the country. And anybody who's out there right now, in my opinion, who's assessing this is an embarrassment for the Republican Party, suggesting that the Republican Party is so divided they can't pick a speaker, I think that it's a reflection of the country. Every election that we've had here recently has been very close and incredibly divided. The country is incredibly divided. Do you think that the other side of these negotiations that are taking place in front of the country to watch, if they are so inclined, do you think it results in a stronger or weaker Republican Party?
I actually think it will. I think it'll actually result in a stronger Republican Party because it's when you get things out in the open, when you get disputes out in the open and debate them and discuss them and then work them out, that makes you stronger in the long run. It makes you weak when these kind of problems and resentments run under the surface. And I in a lot of ways, people are trying to put this into a personality thing, and it's boring to talk about the fact that this is about procedural parliamentary rules. That's what this is really about. But those parliamentary procedural rules, while they might be boring, are really, really important because they affect how bills flow through the House, how the budgeting and appropriations process works, and most important, it affects whether House committees are going to be able to do the kind of intensive, in-depth oversight hearings and investigations into all the bad things that the Biden administration has been doing, particularly agencies like the FBI.
Yeah, there's so much at stake, and it's important for the Republicans, the majority party right now, to get it right. And the Democrats had a little bit of a kerfuffle the last time they were trying to pick a speaker. It seems as though they did a lot more of this behind closed doors, and it was probably pretty messy. Reports were that it was pretty messy behind closed doors, but they came out, they elected Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi said, as a condition of her speakership, that she wouldn't run again. And then she, of course, stepped down from leadership now. Before we let you go, Hans, there are some wrinkles here that could make this really dramatic. We saw Matt Gaetz step up and nominate Donald Trump. Donald Trump is not, in fact, in the House of Representatives. How does he become the Speaker of the House?
Well, that's a very interesting and very good question, but very interesting because neither the Constitution nor the parliamentary rules of the House require the Speaker to be an elected representative.
And he wouldn't get to vote. He would just have the power that comes with the gavel?
Exactly. He would not be able to vote, but he would have the whatever powers the Speaker has to assign people to committees, figure out who the chairs are, the committees, et cetera. But, yeah, wouldn't be able to vote.
Well, is there anything else that you see potentially on the horizon that could really throw these viewers, people who are paying attention for the first time, for a loop, potentially maybe a Democrat speaker?
I don't think that would happen. I think before even the 2019 dissenting representatives, they would switch their vote before they would allow a Democrat to become the Speaker of the House.
I would agree with that. Hans, thank you. Always great to have an expert on these constitutional issues and to bring it right into focus for people who are watching this and they want to understand what's going on. You always do such a great job for us.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. We'll do it again soon. Hans von Spakovsky, the Senior Legal Fellow at the Heritage Foundation, DOJ lawyer as well. Reach out to him on Twitter at @von Spakovsky if you have more of those constitutional questions. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to step into Wiggins America, and I know you are excited to hear what Ryan Wiggins has to discuss today. He's going to talk about college and what it might look like in a few years down the road, maybe when his kids are of college age. Reach out to us on the Annie Frey YouTube channel and vote in today's YouTube live chat poll. Who do you support for speaker? Kevin McCarthy, Hakeem Jeffries, Byron Donalds, or somebody else? And make sure you leave a comment as to why you voted the way you did. Ryan Wiggins and Wiggins America. When we come back.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
If your New Year's resolution is to finally get a new bath or shower of your dreams, Bath Fitter of St. Louis makes that process incredibly easy. Mark Cox here from my friends at Bath Fitter. In just a day, with no demolition or mess, Bath Fitter of St. Louis can install a new, beautiful bath or shower. Right now, you can get 20% off up to $1,000 or 5 years of no-interest financing, plus a lifetime guarantee. Call them at 636-338-1648. Tell them Mark Cox sent you.
It's cold outside again, and that means that you were probably testing your furnace. I know that we've had in our house kind of ups and downs literally on the temperature that we want the house to be set at, just because a couple days ago it was warm outside. When you contact Air Comfort Service, easy to find them at aircomfortservice.com. They're going to be able to tune up your HVAC system, your air conditioner, your furnace, of course. Doing that maintenance is really important to making sure that you don't incur a lot of costly fixes that might need to come down the road because you didn't change the filter or because you didn't know that you needed to do some specific maintenance. Or, let's be honest, it's your furnace. You're only thinking about it when it's not working. Air Comfort gets that. And if you need to reach out to them to make sure that they can service the furnace in your house and make sure it's running appropriately so you don't have to go through one of those costly repairs or a replacement, 314-513-0091. 314-513-0091. You can talk to them about how you can get your furnace service maintained, tuned up, and if you have to replace it, great opportunities for rebates as well as great financing opportunities to keep you within your budget. aircomfortservice.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
How might this week's big stories impact your portfolio? Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale with Stifel. Join me and fellow Stifel financial advisor Eric Robert during On the Money every Saturday from 11 till noon right here on 97.1 FM Talk. Stifel, member NYSE and SIPC.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
Filtering the BS pushed by the mainstream media.
St. Louis is home for conservative talk.
97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Frey Show.
Make you wanna holler, holler.
Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Chug-a-look, chug-a-look. Grape wine in a mason jar, homemade and brought to school by a friend of mine after class.
when him and this other fool decide that we'll drink up.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We've been covering the speaker vote as it continues. I think it's going to go to the 8th ballot. We'll see if they're going to have that vote here soon. They've already had one vote. Matt Gaetz nominating Donald Trump for Speaker of the House. So that happened. And he just got one vote. So we'll see if that grows. Byron Donalds continues to get the most non-Kevin McCarthy Republican votes. He was asked by a reporter just yesterday if he felt as though his dissent was going to be like a threat to him.
You worried about retribution after the fact? There was threats that folks that weren't going to vote for McCarthy would be kicked off committees. Now you've put yourself in a pretty public position opposing the person that could be the speaker. Are you worried about retribution?
Man, I'm 6'2", 275. I'm not worried about that.
What goes down on Capitol Hill, man? I'm kind of curious. Byron Donalds, 6'2", 275, and not afraid to play. It's funny. I'm enjoying watching this. Let's get to Wiggins America.
Wiggins! Oh! Wiggins! Yeah, I think they were talking about committees, sir, not physical fighting.
You don't know.
But we don't know for
we
sure.
We don't know
Those things
what
aren't
goes
necessary.
on when the pizza shows up.
Yeah.
That's true.
The door closes, and they go into committee. Those two things could not be...
You're right. Adam Schiff's, he could have like a real extended reach and be real hard to hit, you know?
It's like getting punched by a wet noodle.
Yeah, but he probably moves pretty fast. I'm going to talk to you about college and the direction that college is headed. I pulled up an Axios article about this simply because Axios tends to not be really right-leaning. I would say left-leaning, if anything. And they're talking about really the trouble that U.S. higher education is having. And a few stats to share with you here. Number one, the total number of undergraduate students in the U.S. has dropped by 10% in just 2 years. That is a major, major shift in attendance to higher education. Number two, the number of colleges closing over the last decade quadrupled compared with the prior decade. And then more than 1,450 colleges and universities have permanently now, because of that, eliminated standardized tests or made them optional. So
because if there's anything we want in college, it's
just lower
average
the bar. Yeah.
mediocrity.
Exactly, which is exactly what you're seeing. You're seeing colleges struggle to get students, and so the barriers to entry are lower. I guess that's good for the average person if you can't get into college, but let's be honest.
Are they lowering the standards so they can get more students? They're doing it in the name of diversity, equity, and inclusion.
They're doing it for
Again,
both.
see what Ron DeSantis is doing in Florida.
If they really wanted to get more students, one of the things they could do is charge less.
No, they're not going to do that, Brad, because
Get out of here, Brad. That's crazy.
Brad.
You think that's going to happen?
I'm just saying.
Brad, the reason they're not going to do that is because there is a whole apparatus of government money.
Wait.
Yeah, please.
Just want to make sure that I don't say this after the fact, but I'm waiting for somebody to come on here on our YouTube channel and comment about Trump University. I just want to beat you to the punch, and I want to make sure I think we're good.
Yeah, I'm talking about public universities here, not Steak Knife University or whatever that he had. We're talking about public universities. There is so much government money propping those things up. They're not going anywhere for a while, but they're changing. And the biggest change, we all know this is happening. This is straight from the article, though. College are responding to dropping enrollment by introducing hybrid and online learning options. It's happening fast. My question for you guys is I think we're all on the same page that the higher education system changing in this country is a good thing. We need to see that happen.
That's very dependent on what we're talking about because it's changed in a terrible way for a long time.
I don't know that changing to a hybrid or online model is a good thing.
I don't either. But don't you want to see the grip that the ideologues have over the institutions change?
I want to see university go back to classical education.
They should be an employee factory or employer factory. They should be there to create people who get jobs and create jobs. That's not what they do. And none of the idea factory type of like indoctrinational aspects of college. There's nothing that's happened that's slowing that down at all. They increase prices. They increase government student loan forgiveness. They lessen responsibility. And they know the whole point is not to get a job. It's to figure out how the government screwed you so that you can get the handout when it's done.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it costs me extra money. not headed in the right direction.
And even at that, like Harvard is embroiled in complete scandal right now because they were, allegedly not admitting Asian students because they were overrepresented.
Yes.
You're talking about something that's supposed to produce the best in the world. And they're not doing that because who is overperforming is overrepresented, and that's not fair.
Just a story that I came across, and it interested me enough to it got my attention over my holiday break. I just did a quick Google search. So this is from thecollegefix.com. I think that I read the first one on Red State, but I can double back. MIT faculty have adopted a resolution that defends freedom of speech and expression, even speech some find, quote, offensive or injurious.
Whoa, that's
I know.
scandalous.
The quote, free expression statement approved by the Faculty Senate December 21st states that, quote, learning from a diversity of viewpoints and from the deliberation, debate, and dissent that accompany them are essential ingredients of academic excellence. Weird that that's a new statement.
Yeah, shouldn't that be the liberal standpoint on everything?
The statement was approved by a vote of 98 to 52.
Oh, okay. The question I have coming out of this, though, because Annie, your point is that these should be creating people that want to have jobs, that creating people who work. Right now, it's doing the exact opposite. If you go into the university system, you're going to come out thinking that work is bad and that you are a victim in some way or another, and that you should be given money or a leg up in some way because of who you are. You shouldn't have to work for really anything. And there's a lot. That's one idea that comes out of college now, but there's a lot of others, obviously. So as you're preparing, maybe you're not quite there yet, but that's my question for you. Are you thinking about college yet? And if you are you thinking about it just in the traditional way, or
It's
are you
the
like,
worst
I don't know?
parenting move that I have is that I have to push back, and I'm not always successful against the idea of like laying the groundwork right now that my kids should not go away to college. It's an incredibly selfish endeavor. I want to slap myself every time we go into it, but I'm like, my husband and I have talked about building a house. We would like to build a house. We have a very adequate, we have a very nice house right now, but it's not a fancy house. It's a very suburban home. We have 4 beds. We have 6 people. So right now, my son has his own room. My oldest daughter and my middle daughter share, their beds are in the same room, but the baby and my middle daughter have their things in the same room. And so the baby has her own room to sleep in. My son has his own room, and then the middle girls sleep together. But the space layout for my growing family and size, I don't know that it's adequate. So I actually might get a smaller house that's planned out in a better way for my family. And I keep telling my son and daughter, like, we could build like an apartment over the garage or a shed. And if we buy all the land, then maybe we could just build like an apartment building and you could live right over there and I'll pay for your college and I will get an extra job if that's what it takes. Like, and this has nothing to do with their future. It's just my future.
Plant the seeds. You don't want them to leave.
Well, you two each have kids, and I'm curious. Do you believe it's absolutely 100% necessary, or are you of the mindset that my children will go to college?
No, not at all.
No. But I'm in a unique position because...
Not right now. I don't even want them to go to high school.
Yeah, my kids are in 3rd grade, so we're not quite there yet. But
my
I'm also...
son's in 7th grade, so
you're thinking about it. My wife is a college advisor at her school, so she knows so much that I'm like, I'll just let you kind of think about that right now. But when we get there, the online stuff, it's so much cheaper and easier if you are going to do college.
Huge fan of junior college.
To do juniors or to do your gen eds, even at home now, and save a lot of money.
Yes, at home with your parents, where they love you and feed you Mickey waffles still.
And let's not forget about like the trade schools and stuff like that.
With whipped cream and chocolate chips on top, however you like it.
He needs to get that in writing.
Yeah, he does.
Because you're going to sit here and do that for the first week.
You want to know another commitment I made to my kid?
Let's hear it.
Don't drink before you're 21.
That's great.
And I'll take you to Disney World to drink around the world in Epcot on your 21st birthday with friends.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Oh, wow.
Sounds really good to a 13-year-old.
Yeah, to a 20-year-old?
I'm going to every day, and I'm like, and you can live at home with your friends. They can live here too. We can have everybody live at my house.
Hannah, is that a good deal or not? We need to know.
I'll take her to Disney World, but she's 21 now.
Oh, darn. She
missed it.
just missed.
That's a good deal.
It definitely sounds good to a 13-year-old.
I
when they're
That's why
19
I'm laying
and 20.
it now. I got to set the tone. And I also told my 10 and 6-year-old.
Again, sounds
and Molly,
fantastic.
I'm like, no drinking. Speaking of Chug-a-Lug. Until you're 21 and we go see Mickey Mouse.
We
And
couldn't
she's
have planned
like,
this song better.
no.
Molly's
Give me a
not
break.
in.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk to Tyrus when we come back about Cori Bush. Give me a break.
Mark Cox here. Join me, Annie Frey, and Mark Reardon, along with Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw for the next Protecting Your Retirement educational event. It's Tuesday, January 24th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Seats are limited, so go online today at retirementkey.com. Here's Thomas with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and concerned about losing even more money this year in your retirement accounts? Did you know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can now roll over your 401k tax-free to protect your nest egg from any more losses and still generate more income than most investment options? Would you like to know why our clients have not lost a penny with all the market volatility this past year? You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 and a half or older, you don't want to miss this event.
Join the official financial advisors of my show, Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw, Tuesday, January 24th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Well, Fountains Family Dentistry is going to take care of your dental needs this year. You've heard me talking about Dr. Ty Parker and just how nice they are. These are all features, but you know you need to get your teeth cleaned. So start there. Make an appointment with Fountains Family Dentistry at fountainfamilydentistry.com. They make it very, very easy to do because they know that your time is precious. And maybe you're not thinking about that. You're going to hear this and you go, oh, yeah, I've been meaning to do that. And maybe you don't do it right away, but you do it at 5 tonight and you call and you can't get anybody because they've closed it 4:59 or whatever. So do it now, or you can do it online anytime. They make it convenient for you when you think to do it. FountainsFamilyDentistry.com. And again, I mentioned yesterday that they have the sleep apnea mouth guard. They have teeth whitening. So many things that may be on your list, but they're never top of the list. And the beginning of the year is a great time to just say, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to use the phrase. Brad told me yesterday. You did use the phrase, though. New year, new you. I'm not. But this is a great time to take care of some of those things. So, FountainsFamilyDentistry.com.
Hi, guys. It's Mark with Pineview Medical Clinic. Are you struggling with erectile dysfunction and sick of the pills? Well, we have a major medical advancement that has helped thousands of men. Our wave technology is backed by 60 clinical studies, including from Cambridge University. It's been shown to increase blood flow by repairing blood vessels. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED, call us now. And not only will the assessment and blood flow ultrasound be free, but will also include something unique that produces powerful results in the bedroom. You're going to love that one, guys. Trust me. This unprecedented offer is worth $600, but it's free to those who call in the next 2 minutes. Call 314-530-7777. That's 314-530-7777. Guys, put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and get your life back. Call Pineview Medical Clinic now to qualify. 314-530-7777.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Speaker, I'm Matt Napolitano, Fox News. The House is on to an 8th round of voting after round 7 failed to yield a Speaker of the House.
Late-night negotiations and a report of new concessions by Kevin McCarthy to conservative holdouts did not net the top House Republican new support for Speaker of the House. On a 7th round of voting, McCarthy was again at 201 votes, short of the 218 needed. 19 others voted for Florida Republican Byron Donalds. Florida's Matt Gaetz cast his vote for former President Trump. On Capitol Hill, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
President Biden addressing the migrant crisis at the southern border today.
I will visit the border myself this Sunday in El Paso to assess border enforcement operations, meet with the local officials and community leaders, and the folks at the border sending me what they need that they don't have.
The president speaking from the White House, announcing new steps by his administration to address the surge. This includes greater use of expedited removal for people arriving at the border without a basis to stay and making it easier for sponsored individuals to get temporary work approval. This as Title 42 remains in place for now. The Trump-era policy permitting deportation of migrants because of pandemic concerns. Officials are preparing for the end of that statute.
Once the Title 42 public health order is no longer in place, DHS will use its longstanding Title 8 immigration enforcement authorities to process all individuals encountered at the border.
Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. And a Latah County judge ordering Brian Kohberger held without bail. Kohberger making his first court appearance today after being extradited from Pennsylvania, the suspect in the murders of 4 University of Idaho students in November. America's listening to Fox News.
Make a New Year's resolution that's easy to keep. Help protect your identity and finances with LifeLock Identity Theft Protection. LifeLock detects identity threats you may miss on your own. And if you become a victim, LifeLock will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses. But LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself. Join now and save up to 25% off your first year. Go to LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS.
President Trump has announced, and Ron DeSantis is rising fast. Who do you support for 2024? Newsmax wants to know what you think. Vote in the Newsmax poll. Just text the word RESPOND to 39747. That's RESPOND to 39747. It takes just seconds. Text RESPOND to 39747. Let your voice be heard and watch Newsmax today. Texting enrolls for automated text messages. Message and data rates may apply.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Chilly times to be out and about on this Thursday afternoon. A little bit on the windy side with that a mix of clouds and sunshine. 39-40, that's it for the high. Tonight, partly cloudy skies. The winds fade, but it's a cold night down to 28. Friday, sunny and 45. Saturday, still expecting a couple of rain showers from time to time, mainly on the light side and 48. Clearing skies Sunday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Conservatives Care is a new 97.1 monthly action plan to change your neighborhoods and our nation, one project at a time. In January, we're inviting you to join us in the Missouri USO in serving our troops by visiting missouri.uso.org.
Hi, this is Brian with Velocity Home Buyers, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 314-782-3333. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition and any price range in the St. Louis area. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that needs updating, but you don't have the time or money for it? Great, because I love buying outdated houses. I buy vacant houses, job relocation houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 314-782-3333. That's 314-782-3333.
Reel in the big one at the best fishing expo in the Midwest. The Let's Go Fishing Show on January 6th through 8th at Gateway Convention Center in Collinsville. Visit vendors with the latest fishing boats, rods, reels, tackle, accessories, resorts, and guided services. Shop unique, one-of-a-kind items and top-of-the-line marine electronics at discount prices. Attend free seminars. Meet pro anglers Bassmaster Elite Series Pro Brandon Palaniuk and many more. Free fishing pond. Visit letsgoshows.com for coupons and more info.
If you need to sell your home to buy a new home, it's never been more important to have an experienced negotiator you can trust. You need my friends Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty on your side, fighting for every dollar for you. Check out thegelmanteam.com. That's thegelmanteam.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid, keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
me tell you something. When I be complaining about food prices and y'all be like, ain't you rich? Why you complaining about lettuce? Why you complaining about this? That just goes to show me when you become successful, when you have money, you're gonna go broke soon because y'all not budgeting. I get a summary of the money that's being spent in my home every week. So when I'm starting to see that like groceries is like tripling up, it's like, hey, yo, what the is going on? I want to see for myself what the is being spent on. And like when I go to the supermarket, like I went to the supermarket, I'm seeing that everything tripled up. That like lettuce was like $2 a couple of months ago, and now it's like $7. Of course, I'm gonna say something. Because if I think that is crazy, I could only imagine what middle class people or people in the hood is thinking. So yes, I'm going to say something. And I have a big platform, so I do want anybody that's responsible of these prices to put that down. They're going to see my they might put it down.
In case you didn't know who that is, and I know everybody listening right now 100% recognizes Cardi B's voice, when she starts talking about the price of lettuce, now you know.
You're becoming like my most stable relationship.
Enough said.
Tyrus, who's coming back to Edwardsville to the Wildey Theater in the end of February. Go get your tickets at the Wildey website before they're gone. Tyrus, have you heard Cardi B complaining about the tripling prices at the grocery store yet?
No, this is the first.
I mean, if she's talking about it, that means something.
I was wondering about it. I'm glad that Cardi B cleared that up. Any chance she's running for Speaker of the House?
I think everybody is right now. Maybe Tyrus is.
Her wonderful benediction just captured the spirit of virtue signaling. She makes enough money, she could have bought a lettuce farm and handed free lettuce out. So let's just put that in perspective.
Well, you know, a lot of people right now are paying attention to things like prices at the grocery store. They're paying attention to the credit card bills that are coming after Christmas has commenced and ended. And what I'm paying attention to is the Speaker of the House race. I got to think that there are a lot of people in this country who have no idea that it's going on. What do you think is important to the average American right now?
Well, I think it sends and maybe I'm the unicorn in this one, but I think it sends a positive message that the Republican Party is not just going to fall in line anymore. You know, conservatives for a long time are always the ones who, like, have to break bread, have to make the deal, have to, you know, we've heard Rand Paul a million times talking about ridiculous spending. So now what we're having is what we're supposed to have is that we're a republic, and they're supposed to debate and come up with compromises that work out for everybody. I'm glad to see at least 20 people that are representing their constituents, good, bad, or indifferent. And like I said, it's a process, but I'm tired of the quick fixes because clearly we can see, especially today after that ridiculous speech where he just basically went a long way around saying he wants to grant amnesty for all immigrants. So I was glad to see at least one side's actually doing some work of the Republic and debating. It's refreshing.
Yeah. Well, we're speaking to Tyrus right now. He's the co-host of the Tyrus and Tim podcast. He's on Gutfeld, Fox News contributor, and author of the book, Just Tyrus, a memoir. I wanted to talk to you about this, and I tweeted at you about this last night because I wanted to make sure you had seen it. But Cori Bush, our representative right here from St. Louis, this is what she tweeted about Byron Donalds, who is getting the second most votes on the House floor for the speakership. Kevin McCarthy is not securing the majority. He still has about 200 votes. Byron Donalds is a black Republican representative from Florida. Cori Bush, our black Democrat representative here in St. Louis, tweeted this last night. For what it's worth, Byron Donalds is not a historic candidate for speaker. He is a prop. Despite being black, he supports a policy agenda intent on upholding and perpetuating white supremacy. His name being in the mix is not progress. It's pathetic. Tyrus, what do you think about that?
There's this great movie called Stupid Is. It has a great saying, stupid is as stupid does. I think it's funny that Republicans, our blackness is always in the line every time. Of course, it doesn't have to be historic. Democrats lead the league in first. Always put the first this, but they're usually worse at doing their job. So he's a breath of fresh air. He has ideas. He's getting momentum. So why not? Don't hate because it's not you. You know, they make these comments. You don't like his policies? Well, that's probably why you're a Democrat. and probably why you wouldn't get elected in his district. So stay in your lane and leave the color of the skin out of it. But you can't because you can't debate. So, again, I'll just go back to the fact that I like the fact that we're having debate, that McCarthy's not just going to walk in. We're not the Democratic Party. We don't lay down and just fall in line. So people can learn from this, and I think it's a good thing. And you know what? McCarthy, if he gets, what's he at, vote 7 now or 8? Eventually he's going to have to, if they can't sway, he's going to have to step down, and maybe that brother will get an opportunity. Maybe it'll be somebody else. But regardless, there will be a Speaker of the House, and it will be done the right way, by debate.
Man, you know, I listen to what Cori Bush is saying there. When she calls Byron Donalds a prop, I see consistency here with any time there is a black person who speaks up with, espousing Republican or conservative values. People of the Cori Bush ilk like to use that word prop. And I'll tell you this, Tyrus, I mean, you are a biracial individual. You've been on the show longer than any other consistent guest that I have. And there are people who have said and suggested, Tyrus, that we use you as a prop here on the Annie Frey Show. I think that's pretty demeaning to me, but it is incredibly demeaning to you to suggest that you have any obligation here or in the words that you say.
Well, like I said, when they bring up my skin tone as their argument, we already won the argument. So I'm not really concerned with, I'm a prop. Yeah, I get a huge paycheck for coming on. I love when you hand me my script every night. Sorry, sometimes I forget what you write, but your handwriting is tough to read at times. So you just have to look and laugh. We have to stop when someone says, and it usually comes from our own, and that's one of the ugly things about being African American, that most of our attacks come from our own, and then they try to disguise it and blame it on white people. But you call somebody a prop because you disagree with them, but at least have the guts to say it. If you're going to call me an Uncle Tom, stand up and say it. I have more respect for somebody who tells me that they don't like me to my face, and somebody who tries to say things and not be slick about it. Just say it. But she knows that she won't want to cross that bridge, but she wants everyone to think. It's that subliminal messaging, that polite racism. And it, despite what they want us to think, racism is not necessarily color bound. You can be dark as midnight and be a racist. You can be yellow as the color on the rainbow and be a racist. And we're seeing it with these Democratic politicians because they think so little of their base. They think their black constituents are ignorant, and anyone different from them who isn't dreaming about getting on a Sprite commercial and playing in the NBA is an Uncle Tom. And instead of talking about the ideas, because that's how they run. They group us all together. We all think the same. We are the same. We're like children. We need them to run. And usually it's our own constituents who do it. So, again, you take it as a grain of salt. I laugh at it. I know what they cheer for, so their boos give you strength.
We're speaking with Tyrus. He is co-host of the Tyrus and Tim podcast. I see him on Gutfeld all the time. And you pop up as a Fox News contributor here and there and everywhere on Fox. I do want to shift the topic real quick before we let you go and ask you about the Damar Hamlin situation, the safety for the Buffalo Bills who took a hit, what appeared to me, and you're the football expert, to be a routine football hit. He went into cardiac arrest. The world saw it happen. And it really did bring the world to their knees, the football players on the field praying, lots of people on Twitter tweeting about prayers. But there was a unified message around his injury, his crisis, his circumstance, that it sucks that you have to have a tragedy like that to bring people together. But in my experience here covering news in the last year or two, it's one of the most unifying moments that I've seen happen in culture. And I'm wondering, as a person who's been involved in football for a lot in your life, what you think about what took place and how people reacted after the fact.
Well, first of all, anyone who's ever put on a pair of pads and a helmet, they sat in their chair and didn't blink watching that screen. It's a brotherhood. It's a sisterhood for the moms and the wives who watch their sons go out there and play. And I think everybody took a moment. And it's a nice thing to see that the majority of us in this country care. We just don't get a voice until something bad happens. And it was amazing. I'm not a religious man, but I respect prayer. I respect people. That's the way of showing they care. They're showing unity and goodwill towards other men, and that's what we needed. Unfortunately, the last thing you want to do is have that happen on the field, a freak accident, not indicative of the sport. It just happened. Freak accidents happen in sports all the time. So, you hate to see that happen, but the coming together, the GoFundMe page, all those things give me hope. And again, you want wish him a speedy recovery. If he never sets a foot on the field again, so what? As long as he's able to maintain his life, the NFL stepped up and said that they're going to make sure he gets his pension, make sure he gets his health care, so he's taken care of. And it was a really good sign to see people come together. Now, I don't want to give much credence to the idiots who then got on and attacked football and attacked masculinity and all that kind of stuff, because that's what they're going to do, because they're not investing in it. The story is that young man, period. The only updates I want to hear is how he's doing. He's improving, which is great. We want him to be able to go on and have a family, pursue his dreams. If it's not on the field, the things he's doing with his charity work, and that's all I care about. I don't care about the Joy Behars and all these so-called geniuses that come out and attack people for what is a freak accident. It's like saying no one should drive cars because someone got in an accident.
Tyrus, before we let you go, I want to remind people that you're going to be at the Wild E Theater again in Edwardsville, Illinois at the end of February. Talk to us real quick about that event. And I know that the tickets are almost sold out, so I want people to I'm going to tweet out the link here.
6 left.
Go get them, folks.
Well, obviously, I'm excited to be back, and not just for Pappy. I get a chance to be in the studio with you guys again, which is great. And, although this was kind of a heavy episode, not our normal episode, but it's going to be a lot of laughing and fun. And I never know what the hell I'm going to say, honestly, until I say it. But I guarantee you that people will leave with a smile on their face. And it's quickly becoming like a hometown. Every time I tour, we'll get an email from Edwardsville, and as long as I can come up with new stuff, I'll keep coming.
That's fantastic. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I think I'm going to take the stage. I think the event starts at 7:30. I'm going to welcome people maybe around 7 o'clock or a little bit ahead of the opening curtain when you take the stage and take Edwardsville by storm once again. It'll be a new show, so people who want to come see the event, if you saw the first one, get tickets for the second one, because if you like the first one, the second one will be a new, fresh show. And Tyrus, we always love having you here. We hope we can maybe potentially welcome you back in the studio. I know Pappy's is waiting for you as well.
I know, real quick, I don't know if that was a compliment that I'm your consistent guest every week. Hopefully you guys continue to grow, get some bigger names up on there, but I'll take it.
Yeah, we love having you, Tyrus. We'll talk to you again next week. Happy New Year to you.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you too.
As well. Tyrus, he is a Fox News contributor, and he's got his own podcast, the Tyrus and Tim podcast. I guess that's their own podcast, but you also see him on Gutfeld. I love watching when he's on there and getting his straight, enough said take on so many different important issues. We're continuing to watch. If you're streaming with us on the YouTube channel, we've got the C-SPAN vote tally that's up there. 3 votes for somebody other than McCarthy, Jeffries, Donalds, or others. We're going to tell you who those 3 votes are when we come back here in just a minute. You're listening to the Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. And we will recap what the situation is in just a minute. Hans von Spakovsky joined us to talk to us about what in the world is the role of the speaker, who can be the speaker, who could be the speaker. He talked to us at 12:25. A little recap when we come back, and we're going to change the subject a little bit. Don't go away. We'll be back with more in just a minute.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Congress has authorized trillions in new spending, along with doubling the size of the IRS agency in just the last few months. Do you think that is by accident? No, it is with a purpose, to go after small businesses, employees, and individuals who have not filed or paid their taxes. If this is you, don't panic, just call. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm in St. Louis. Interest and penalties on your tax bill won't stop until you take control. Call me, Lance Drury. I'll tell you in advance an affordable fee which includes costs and expenses that works for your business and family. Your first visit to the Lance Drury Law Firm is free and confidential, so you have nothing to lose. Call me today. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. You need an attorney. You need us, the Lance Drury Law Firm. Call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120 or go to Lance, D-R-U-R-Y law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
You know, shopping at Ruler Foods is a really smart move right now for your pocketbook, but the truth is it's a really smart move anytime. Why would you not want to spend less money on your grocery bill and still get great products, great Kroger brands at Ruler Foods prices? They have low prices every day. You don't need to go through the process of clipping coupons and all of the different efforts you might be making right now to save a few cents here, save a few cents there. You can go to rulerfoods.com. You can see their current ad that is out right now in this moment, and you can see where their locations are nearest you. Ruler Foods is there to make the shopping experience pleasant for you. The stores are fantastic. You're going to appreciate the way they're set up and navigating through Ruler Foods. It was so fun when we were doing the food drives out at the St. Charles Ruler Foods on West Clay Street and meeting all of the people who are just Ruler Foods shoppers, people exactly like you who go to Ruler Foods each week or whenever they do their grocery shopping. And then they got to see us. They had no idea why we were there. Well, we were there because Ruler Foods in their communities offers great prices for all of your grocery needs every single day. For your next grocery visit, go to their website at rulerfoods.com, find the location nearest you, and give Ruler Foods a try. You will be so glad you did. rulerfoods.com.
Everybody knows, you've got to get it at Clement.
You pay what we pay? What does that mean, Dad?
It means customers get their new Ford at the price we paid for it.
Oh, how do we make money then?
Our customers are customers for life. That means they'll service with us, hopefully buy the next car from us, and even tell their friends.
Got it. Sounds like common sense.
Visit ClementFord.com.
ClementAutoGroup.com.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
The Mark Reardon Show.
The drama over the House speakership continues. Former Illinois Congressman John Shimkus will weigh in Thursday afternoon.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
I think it's so cute, and I think it's so sweet how you let your friends and
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Oh, before you speak. No, no, no. My name is no. My sign is no. My number is no. You need to let it go. You need to let it go. Need to let it go. No, no, no. My name is no.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. This is Kevin McCarthy's song when they tell him you need to drop out. No. You know, no is my daughter Molly's favorite word. She's 18, almost 19 months, I guess, on the 10th. And she's kind of growing out of it over the Christmas break. I think it was the fact that we spent so much time together because we don't travel for the holidays. Our family is here and we try to, my husband and I both try to make an effort to stay grounded as much as possible, spend time together, play games and all that stuff. So we spent a ton of time with Molly, of course. And before Christmas break, she just liked to say no to everything. But no doesn't mean no. No is just default response. No, it's just like that. And then you'll be like, do you want a cookie? No. Yes. Cookie is another word that she learned over the Christmas break. Cookie. She says it just like that. But in the last 2 weeks or so, she is saying full long sentences and we have no idea what the words are. You just look at it and you're like, what? We point to what you're talking about so we can kind of formulate the idea that you're trying to communicate. Super fun to watch and very confusing to decipher. We've been watching the vote for the Speaker of the House. They're on to their 8th ballot right now. And you can join us on the YouTube live stream and watch the votes as they come in. Byron Donalds has 7 votes. There are 3 votes that have been cast for others. McCarthy has 91. Jeffries has 95. People probably tune in and go, well, Jeffries is winning every single one of these votes. The problem is that you have to have a majority of the votes of people who are voting in that particular ballot. So I summed this up yesterday. I'll do it again for you. Let's pretend, forget about what we actually see in the House. Let's make it simple math, which is how I make myself understand things. If you have to have a majority of the people who are casting a vote on the ballot, let's imagine that the House of Representatives is only 10 people, just simplifying it to the point where it's easy to understand. If you have 10 people voting in the House, how many people do you need to get a majority? 6. Because if you split 5-5, there's no majority, it's a tie. So you'd need 6 people. If 2 of those people happen to need to pee really, really bad, and they leave the floor, and they are not present to vote when the ballot is, when they're going through and calling your name, because it's a roll call vote, and so now there are only 8 people who are voting on that ballot, how many people do you need to win that vote? You would only need 5, because 4-4 would be a tie. So that's how this works. It is a roll call vote, so they call your name, and then you verbally say and respond who you are voting for Speaker of the House. Does not have to be a member of the Speaker of the House. They just have to get the majority of the total people who are there. So if Hakeem Jeffries, who is the Democrat minority leader, were to have a majority of the votes of people who are present and voting, he would be the Speaker of the House as a Democrat with a Republican majority. Now, they could enter votes, or they could enter bills that they could pass. Like, the Democrats, the Speaker of the House, would have a lot of sway and a lot of influence. The problem, you'd have to understand that even though there's a Democrat Speaker of the House, you'd still have a majority of Republicans who are voting. You'd still have 222 Republicans in the House, and any bill that would be put onto the floor for a vote would still have to get a majority, simple majority in the House. And with 222 Republicans still being in the majority, it'd be hard for the Democrats to get anything to pass. The likelihood of a Democrat being the Speaker of the House is slim, but it is not none. Keep that in mind as we move forward. Now, as we talked about earlier, Matt Gaetz did nominate, he did vote for, I should say, in the 7th ballot, we're in the 8th ballot now, did vote for Donald Trump. So Donald Trump has gotten a vote for the Speaker of the House. And in this one, there are three votes that have been cast for others, and I'm going to get that report for you right now. What do you think of this so far? Eight ballots. I mean, I don't understand people who are watching this right now, and if it goes to a 9th ballot, they're like, oh, this is taking for, like, what's the difference between 8 and 9?
Not much. Well, however long it takes to read all those names.
It takes a long time.
Yeah. It's interesting, though, the way this is breaking out now. So what do we split for the others' votes? You've got Byron Donalds, according to the screen, getting 7 and others getting 3.
Gaetz, again, cast a vote for Trump.
Okay.
Still
did like Boebert cast a vote for Trump? It'd be interesting to see who the other 2 are. But if they are part of that group of 5 that are never McCarthy's, it might show a split among the ranks of the others and therefore give McCarthy a chance to make concessions to the groups that aren't just following what Gaetz and that group are doing and therefore find a path to victory.
We were talking off air a little bit about this. I'm curious what your thoughts are on this, and we were reading your comments on the live chat as you are listening to the day and we go through this. The idea that Trump's name is now in the conversation. Matt Gaetz is like, I got an idea. How about Donald Trump? So he puts Donald Trump's name into the conversation. Do people start looking around going, ooh, Donald Trump. We could make Donald Trump the speaker. Does that make people on the left and on the maybe moderate to left of the Republican Party go, how about Kevin McCarthy? What effect does it have?
Yeah, I don't know what effect that has outside of, like, initially my gut reaction is it's just a troll. But if it gains a little momentum, then it will definitely have a sway on that. I just don't, like, does that make McCarthy go, you know what? I'm going to step down and we're going to put somebody out there that everybody can coalesce around? Or does that You know what I'm saying? Because if people go, ooh, Donald Trump, but other people are like, oh, Donald Trump, because if he's
Isn't that like the
I was going to
whole-
say,
that's
if
like-
he's one thing, he's divisive.
Yeah.
You know, not necessarily on purpose, just by state of being, he is.
Probably on purpose.
Well, that's true. But people have made up their minds on him, and I don't know that, like, him being out there as a nominee, like, helps the Republicans.
It's almost always a net wash. It gets a lot of people excited, and it gets a lot of people mad as if they weren't mad.
Right.
They didn't wake up
And
mad.
it pushes them to their corners, too. So it removes any middle ground, any common ground, and everybody goes to their corners.
According to Chad Pergram 12 minutes ago, Representative-elect Josh Brechin from Oklahoma has just voted for Republican Oklahoma Representative-elect Kevin Hern. And apparently, Brechin voted for Representative-elect Banks on opening day. Has been voting Donalds before. So that was a switch. It's just a stalemate, and I don't really think that this stalemate is going to end by 3 p.m.
I would be shocked.
I think it probably goes through the weekend because it seems as though that Kevin McCarthy has made some people very mad.
Mm-hmm.
And in politics, there's very much so a don't get mad, get even mentality, which if I were in politics, I'm going to be really good at it. What did he do? What did he deny somebody? What did he pass over somebody? What has Kevin McCarthy done? Show me where he hurt you. And if that's not going to come out, but it continues to be a consistent no vote for Kevin McCarthy and there's no room to budge. It seemed to be like, I can't remember whose tweet it was, but it seems to me that the portion of the 20 that aren't those initial 4 are persuadable.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not going to get a Speaker McCarthy if 2 of those people decide, oh yeah, let's okay, fine. Kevin McCarthy's agreed to the majority of the things that I want. I'm going to give him my vote. You're not going to have a Democrat who's going to show up and be like, Kevin McCarthy's not so bad. I mean, the Democrats can trade for favors too.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, the Democrats can trade for favors. And Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is out there saying, we could work on a coalition government. And if you watch her talking about the idea of a coalition government and how the Democrats could work with Republicans to try to put this together, it's all only good for Democrats. It's the type of crap that Republicans, who are frustrated with every election, you see candidates campaigning for a change and they get sick and tired of watching Republicans get elected to office, and then they try to work in a bipartisan fashion to get things done. But the only people who are compromising are the Republicans. If the Democrats get anything out of these negotiations, the Republicans have failed.
Yes.
They shouldn't get an inch.
And I think if McCarthy has to give, if McCarthy gives in to Democrat demands to become Speaker, he loses all credibility as a Republican Speaker.
If he gives in to Democrat demands, he will lose Republican votes.
Right.
If he gives in to too many of Matt Gaetz's and Lauren Boebert's demands, he might lose support from the moderate to left wing of the Republicans. He's got to work within his own party. It's possible he could concede too much to his own
detriment.
I don't know if I want to. I mean, is Matt Gaetz far right? I don't even I don't think of him as being policy oriented far right. He is a different kind of politician.
Yeah.
Which is different than policy.
I would say he's more right than most, but I wouldn't call him far right.
Think about Liz Cheney or Adam Kinzinger. I mean, look at their voting records. I am not a fan of the politicians that they are, but if we were just talking about sending somebody to Washington, D.C. to vote for conservative principles, they have proven that they do that when it comes to policy. Mm-hmm. The politics, no bueno. And you could say the same thing. I think a lot of people right now are saying the same thing about Matt Gaetz, Lauren Boebert, Good from North Carolina, West Virginia, one of those two. The 4 that are absolutely no nevers, maybe it's 5. So they're the people on the one side of the Republican Party. They're probably not here in the St. Louis area. They're probably in more moderate purple areas that are maybe a little more sympathetic to the Liz Cheneys and the Adam Kinzingers of the world. I don't know those. I don't know anybody. And trust me, everywhere I go, people slide over to me and they're like, so. And then they want to talk about politics. And I'm like, but it's basketball game. And they're 10. I don't know anybody who votes Republican who says good things about Liz Cheney, and I can think of maybe one person, actually.
Kinzinger.
That person might be listening right now. I don't know anybody who's like a staunch Republican voter. Just a voter who believes that.
Yeah.
And like they're not even thinking policy. I've said this on the show many times. I'll say it again. I'd vote for the CNN contributor Adam Kinzinger to be the governor of Illinois if I thought he could beat J.B. Pritzker twice on Sunday if the Democrat Party had let me.
Same. And I would vote for him to be senator.
Dick Durbin or Adam Kinzinger? If those are your options,
that's an easy
this
choice.
Is simple for me.
Yeah, and he can go be mad at Trump the whole time.
Yeah, I don't care. He's going to be mad at Trump wherever he goes anyway. Might as well do it in the Senate.
Just
and
don't
take Dick
cry.
Durbin out.
Just don't cry.
You can cry. I don't care.
Oh, I don't want him to cry.
I actually think it would be so awesome if Adam Kinzinger became the senator from Illinois, took Dick Durbin out, and went to the Senate and cried the whole time. I'm not mad at that at all. It's a win for Illinois. That's how bad it is. Yeah. I couldn't explain it better. Crap. It makes me so mad. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, more Annie Frey Show here, right around the corner. Have you voted in the YouTube live chat poll yet? Who do you support for speaker? We want to know what you think. You've got 4 options. The lead vote getters right now: Kevin McCarthy, Hakeem Jeffries, Byron Donalds, or somebody else. Is there someone else out there that you really think deserves the right to be the Speaker of the House? Stick around. More Annie Frey Show in just a minute. Don't go away.
My name is no.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Need to let it go.
You have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-777-1979. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-777-1979. That's 800-777-1979. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-777-1979. 800-777-1979.
Your internet, your IT services, I should say, are very, very, very important to make sure that you are ahead of the game, because a lot of people end up calling IT service companies, places like Roadmap Technologies, after they've had a crisis. Don't wait for the crisis. Roadmap Technologies can keep you from the crisis. They can protect you. They can also make sure that you're not paying any unnecessary hidden costs when it comes to your IT services. Do you have software and hardware challenges this year that you want to get ahead of? You can go to Roadmap Technologies and you can talk to them about your specific needs and save money on having to hire a whole new staff or a whole new department in your small business. When it comes to IT services, hire the place that the smart small businesses hire, and many of those large businesses as well. RoadmapTech.com is the website. You can call Roadmap Technologies at 314-222-0057. You can visit the website at roadmaptech.com and tell them that Annie sent you when you reach out to them. Get your IT services protected by the experts, the people who service the large companies, the small companies, and places just like yours. RoadmapTech.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
I'm Eric Robert with Stifel. The economy is always changing, but what does it mean for your investments? Join me and fellow Stifel financial advisor Bob Stockdale during On the Money, Saturday mornings from 11 until noon on 97.1 FM Talk. Stifel, member NYSE and SIPC.
If your New Year's resolution is to finally get the bath or shower of your dreams, Bath Fitter of St. Louis makes that process really easy. Mark Cox here for my friends at Bath Fitter. In just one day with no demolition or mess, they can install a new bathtub or shower for you. Right now, you can get 20% off up to $1,000 or 5 years of no interest financing and a lifetime guarantee. Call them at 636-338-1648. That's 636-338-1648. And tell them Mark Cox sent you.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 54 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Celebrating 22 years as St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk. Thanks for being a part of it. You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Welcome back to The Annie Frey Show. Watching the 8th vote end here on the ballot for the speaker. No speaker yet. Interesting stuff as we continue to march through what seems to be pretty much a stalemate. The vote totals are 176 votes for McCarthy. Jeffries, the Democrat, has 195. Byron Donalds, 15, and others have 3. And one of those votes is like one Oklahoma representative for the other. One of them is for Donald Trump. And that was for Matt Gaetz. So he's still doing that thing. Love to know what you think about it and what your thoughts are on the actual issue. Who do you support for speaker? Is it Kevin McCarthy, Hakeem Jeffries, Byron Donalds, or someone else? You can go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel and cast your ballot, and you can leave comments as to why you voted the way you did. CNBC, this is so funny. CNBC, Brad, has an article out. It says, remove these 10 toxic phrases from your vocabulary, say career experts. They're cold and belittling.
All right, let's have it.
So keep in mind that CNBC's headline here is suggesting that there are 10 toxic phrases that you shouldn't use. And then they tell you what you should say instead. And I want you to see if you see a pattern here as I read through these phrases that you should not say anymore. 10 toxic phrases from your vocabulary that experts say you shouldn't say anymore and what you should replace them with. The first one is, we've always done it this way. And then what to say instead? We've always done it this way, but let's see if it's time to change practices. Is that really changing the phrasing?
No. That's changing the meaning.
Yes. Is it possible that because you've always done it that way, that there is a good reason for that? Not according to CNBC. They say, no, try something new.
Yeah, there's a reason certain things have stuck around for a long time, and it's because they work.
You say to the brain surgeon, well, we've always done it this way. What he should say is, we've always done it this way, but let's see if it's time to change practices. Stupid. Number 2, back in my day, we had it worse. What to say instead? Back in my day, we had it much worse, and I'm so glad it's better for you. What can we change to make it even better?
Oh my gosh.
Man. Number 3, it's best to keep our salary information private. What you should say instead. It's important to have an open conversation about salary. Are we going to solve the gender gap, the gender pay gap, by everybody like wearing a sign around their neck? This is how much I'm worth on paper. Stop it. Number 4, we went with X person because they have more experience. CNBC reports what you should say instead. X person has more experience and will have other opportunities. We went with Y person based upon their strong potential. What? I don't know. We sit here and wonder why we're screwed.
Can I do one? I feel like I got one here.
Okay.
Instead of saying no, say yes.
I was just going to say hell no. Number 5, we don't have term limits. What to say instead? We value giving everyone a turn. Individuals and organizations grow with rotating leadership. Number 6, from CNBC, phrases that need to be replaced and how to replace them. Number 6, can you document that incident in an email? What to say instead? Let's come up with wording that keeps you protected and focuses on the issue. And this is their explanation from one. If you were to say to someone, can you document that incident in an email, which I have had said to me, I will just say this, in the last 6 months. This says the disclosure of an incident may not be confidential or anonymous. While certain things do need to be reported, when the system requires you to document details, one worries about retaliation. That fear of consequences can decrease the likelihood of reporting altogether. Maybe focus on the retaliation part of that sentence. Instead of, no, we shouldn't document anything. Idiots. Number 7, X person didn't mean what they said. What you should say instead, thank you for sharing this. Let's figure out a way to support you and address his behavior. Why his?
Yeah, we're assuming some gender right there, aren't we?
Let's talk about her behavior.
Yeah.
Number 8, I'm not feeling too well, but I'll try to power through the day. What to say instead? I need to take it easy today, so I'm taking a sick day. Has there ever been a time where you haven't felt great, but you have had to power through the day?
Many times.
I'm going to try using that one on my kids.
I'm going to take a sick day.
Mom, mommy, mom, Lois, mom. I need to take it easy today, so I'm taking a sick day. Bye. Does that work? I've been sleeping on this one? Like, can I give that a shot on my kids? I'm going to try it. Number 9, keep this between us, as it's not my news to share. What to say instead? It is best for me to keep the information about them private. I recommend reaching out to them directly. This is just the weirdest way to present things that people are doing in life by in the most like elitist, oozy, drippy, like I'm going to teach you how to live and act way. We're going to change everything about you.
Yeah, it's not a. You asked me to find the theme. And the theme is basically, we don't want you to do this behavior anymore. These aren't phrases that are problems.
Yes, these are behaviors that need to be replaced. But to suggest that you hire somebody with more experience, that you shouldn't say we went with X person because they have more experience, that you're supposed to say no to that person because they'll have more opportunities, and you're going with this person because they have more potential. What if the next person tells the guy with experience? And I'm assuming it's a man because I can. What if the next job that man applies for, that he has a lot of experience for, what if they tell him that too?
You're not suggesting a toxic phrase. You're saying that hiring somebody because they have more experience is toxic.
Is morally wrong.
Yes, that's dumb.
It is stupid.
And you know what? You could probably think of a better way for me saying that, but I'm not. No, it's dumb.
Number 10. Can you send it to me tonight? What to say instead? Since the workday is over, we can pick this up tomorrow. I dare you. Not you. I dare the listener. When your boss says to you, can you send it to me tonight? Your response is, since the workday is over, we can pick this up tomorrow. Go for it.
Oh my gosh.
You might be the person looking for a job saying, I got a ton of experience after you say that. I mean, understanding the confinement of a workday is one thing, but also understanding that there are jobs that do require you to work outside of a confined amount of hours.
Mm-hmm.
This would be one of them. I'm talking specifically about me. What are my hours? What hours do I pay attention to the news?
When the news is on.
Unfortunately, that's the actual right answer. But should I pick out 40 hours a week? Because I do a heck lot more of attention to details basically throughout the waking day. And if you follow this show, you know that my waking day is too long.
This is true. Yeah, I was sitting here thinking about this too. And like, we're talking about how they want to change behaviors, but every one of those things oozes of entitlement as well. So the workday's over and you don't have the right to ask that of me. Or you should hire me instead because I have more potential than the person who's been doing it for years and has a great track record. But I could be better. There's no proof that I could be better, but you should hire me because I deserve it more.
There's certainly a difference, too, between how people are contracted or agreed upon to work for an entity.
Mm-hmm.
You're a salaried person. Hannah is an hourly person. I don't ask Hannah to do things outside of the hours that she's being compensated for.
She doesn't get the 3 a.m. DMs?
Only the really good ones. But I mean, there's a difference to that. If you're in sales and you've got a really big meeting coming up and a huge proposal to make, and it's going to make your family a ton of money and make the company a ton of money, and the boss says something to you about, ooh, send me over the latest version of that proposal tonight when you get it done. And you say to that boss, since the workday is over, give me a break. Do you not want to win the job? The sale?
That's my point. It's an entitlement mentality. They think that they are already entitled to that sale, and therefore they shouldn't have to do anything extra to make it. But when you're in sales, or if you're in a service, like whenever I was...
People who are in sales love people like that because those people don't win the sale.
No. If you have the right to say that. You absolutely do. But then you don't have the right to get the victory at the other side of it.
You're not entitled to anything.
If you want to make the sale, you got to do what you got to do. And it's up to you to decide what your line is. But like whenever I was running that lawn mowing business, there were extra things that I would do that my customers had no right to ask of me. But I knew that if I did that, I would lock them in and I would have their respect. And when somebody came knocking at their door, they'd be like, no, thank you. I've got the best already. And that was my goal whenever I was cutting grass. And it's stupid to say, well, you were cutting grass. Yeah, I was cutting grass. That meant
the grass needs to be cut.
That means that sometimes when they had an emergency, like I'm going to have a party this weekend, can you come on this day instead of that day? I rearranged my entire schedule to accommodate them because I knew that they would appreciate it and it would help me in the long run.
You should have told them what your defined work days were and told them that they needed to comply.
I'm off the clock.
Yeah. You're going to need to tell your grass to stop growing because I'm going to get there when I can get there. I think of I guess it'd be like Red from that 70s show.
Yeah.
Where the whole premise of his character is about putting a boot in his son's rear. Is that a valuable mentality?
I think everybody needs somebody like that in their life.
Like a version of it?
Yes.
Does that exist today? Where do you get that from? Like, who out there right now is saying, because I had a professor in college in communications, and he uses the S word a lot, which I'm not allowed to say because of the FCC. But he would say, you don't mean S to anybody. Nobody cares about you. Nobody is looking out for you. There are 100 people, once you get your job, that will trample you the second they get the opportunity to take your job from you. He used the phrase chicken crap a lot. And anybody who's listening to me right now who went to the university I did and was in the communications department is like, oh, that's Professor. It was unpleasant to hear. I was not raised in a home that had a much different mentality, but it was maybe delivered in a little. There's high expectations for me growing up in a good, positive way. But this guy was straight with it. And the idea that it is a nasty dog-eat-dog world out there that would be eager to devour you the second you give them the opportunity. So you can fight or flight, but if you want to flight, you should stop paying tuition to a university right now because you're not going to make it.
Well, yeah, and the other side of that is you need somebody like that professor to tell you those things so that you don't get hit by a Mack truck whenever you get into the real world.
I remember him saying one time, because it was communications, and I remember him saying, I don't think it was to a specific person in our class, but he was highlighting the idea that if you want to be on television and you can't present yourself in a presentable way, you're not going to be on television. If you want to be on the radio and your voice is shrill and awful and you're not willing to work at it, you will not be on the radio. You don't deserve anything. You're not going to get anything handed to you. You're going to work really hard to earn things and you're still not going to get them. And then you're going to have to decide if you want to continue to work after that. It was refreshing. Now, back then it was kind of soul crushing, but here I am. Thank you, Dr.
So like two syllables. Two
like
syllables.
Yeah, that's his first name. I mean, honestly, who's out there saying that right now? It's hard to find. Let's get Ryan Wiggins back in the studio in the 2 o'clock hour. More coverage passing through the 8th ballot. More to come on the Annie Frey Show in a minute.
If you're like most Americans, you can see things are out of control. Global problems have local consequences. Too many of them. And if the next news headline spins us into chaos, you'd better be ready. Grocery store supply chains are only as strong as their weakest link. Don't wait for them to break. Today's the day to secure emergency food for everyone in your family. My Patriot Supply is America's largest preparedness company. Our specially packaged and delicious food stays fresh for up to 25 years in storage. It'll be there when you need it. Go to mypatriotsupply.com and pick up several emergency food kits. There are a dozen different sizes that average over 2,000 calories per day. As we all know, calories equals energy equals survival. And as you'd expect from a true preparedness company, our food kits are in stock and ship quickly. Those who know what's coming are preparing today. Go to mypatriotsupply.com. mypatriotsupply.com.
CAJonesInc.com is the website for you to go look at the home builder for your next house. In Illinois, the best home builder to go with, CA Jones. They are building beautiful homes all over the southwestern, all the way up to Springfield, I believe, down in Waterloo and all over the area, building homes for people exactly like you, people who care about energy efficiency in your home to make sure you're not going to be paying unnecessary energy costs down the road. They give you a lifetime waterproof basement warranty. Very nice to have in this area, along with a 10-year structure warranty. They stand by their work, and it's beautiful work. They have all these different kinds of layouts on their website at cajonesinc.com. You can play with a model on that gives you the opportunity to pick the color of the outside, the brick, the interior, the siding, the roof, the shutters, the whole thing. I love using that, and when I'm thinking about building a home, I use that website all the time. If you are interested in building a home on the Illinois side of the river, go with my friends at CA Jones, cajonesinc.com.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Research shows listeners prefer a personalized experience. So to help you remember, Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance. We personalized this ad for Amber, who really misses boy bands from the 90s.
Hey girl, I'm the cute one, here to tell you how Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
I'm the heartthrob. The only thing I love more than you is saving. And I'm the other boy in the band everyone forgot about.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
8 isn't enough. I'm Matt Napolitano, Fox News. It appears an 8th round of voting will not be the magic number for Kevin McCarthy to become House Speaker, still falling short of the 218 votes needed. The White House has vowed to stay out of the Republican squabble, but President Biden is interjecting.
When it comes to what's going on inside the House of Representatives right now, President Joe Biden says that Republicans need to get their act together. The more these votes go on, the longer then it takes for the Republicans to start the investigations
that they would like to start into the president's son, Hunter Biden, into the border crisis, the withdrawal from Afghanistan, as well as that Saudi oil ask to delay production cuts until after the midterm elections.
Fox's Edward Lawrence at the White House. President Biden earlier today announcing he will visit El Paso, Texas on Sunday to assess the ongoing migrant crisis at the southern border. The president calling on Congress to help fix the nation's broken immigration system. The man accused of murdering 4 University of Idaho students faced a judge in Latah County for the first time today.
Mr. Koberger, would you like to represent yourself, hire a lawyer, or see if you qualify for court-appointed counsel?
I have court-appointed counsel.
Judge Megan Marshall with Brian Koberger there. He was extradited from Pennsylvania and will remain in custody without bail. Tragedy in Utah. A family of 8 found dead inside an Enoch City home in an apparent murder-suicide. 42-year-old Michael Haight believed to be responsible for the deaths of his wife, her mother, and Haight's 5 kids.
It is known by court documents that there was a divorce petition that was filed, and that was made part of the information given to dispatch.
Enoch City manager Rob Dotson, police responding to a welfare check after Haight's mother-in-law did not show up for an appointment. America's listening to Fox News.
Make a New Year's resolution that's easy to keep. Help protect your identity and finances with LifeLock Identity Theft Protection. LifeLock detects identity threats you may miss on your own. And if you become a victim, LifeLock will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses. But LifeLock by Norton makes it easy to help protect yourself. Join now and save up to 25% off your first year. Go to LifeLock.com. Use promo code NEWS.
President Trump has announced, and Ron DeSantis is rising fast. Who do you support for 2024? Newsmax wants to know what you think. Vote in the Newsmax poll. Just text the word RESPOND to 39747. That's RESPOND to 39747. It takes just seconds. Text RESPOND to 39747. Let your voice be heard and watch Newsmax today. Texting enrolls for automated text messages. Message and data rates may apply.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Chilly times to be out and about on this Thursday afternoon. A little bit on the windy side with that a mix of clouds and sunshine. 39-40, that's it for the high. Tonight, partly cloudy skies. The winds fade, but it's a cold night down to 28. Friday, sunny and 45. Saturday, still expecting a couple of rain showers from time to time, mainly on the light side and 48. Clearing skies Sunday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
Southern Armory, your Second Amendment headquarters, keeping in the most popular ammo and firearms on today's market. Can't find what you want? Have us order it. Southern Armory, 9901 Watson Road, 1 mile east of 270 and 44, and southernarmory.com. That's southernarmory.com.
Calling all contractors. Come out wherever you are.
Andrea, what are you doing?
Scott, I'm letting contractors know that at Best Buy Flooring, we have a huge new in-stock selection of carpet, luxury vinyl plank, laminate, and ceramic tile at low, low prices.
Don't forget hardwood.
Right, and it's all available at both locations, 7301 North Lindbergh in Hazelwood, Missouri, and 1851 West U.S. Highway 15, O'Fallon, Illinois.
Open 7 days a week. Best flooring, best selection, Best Buy Flooring. See you there.
You don't need special gadgets to be a hero. With unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase everywhere, the Capital One Quicksilver Card makes you the hero of every purchase. What's in your wallet? Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Tune into the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Del, self-made millionaire and founder of Lifestyles Unlimited, will show you how to live the life of your dreams and pay for it with passive income.
Listen to the Del Walmsley Radio Show this Saturday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. on 97.1 FM Talk.
Big ideas, real debate, solid entertainment. You found it here.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I
love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Happy Thursday. We appreciate you spending some of your afternoon here with us on St. Louis's home for conservative talk, 97.1 FM Talk. A reminder, you can stream us on the Odyssey app or go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel and watch the show and vote in today's YouTube live chat poll. Who do you support for Speaker? Kevin McCarthy, Hakeem Jeffries, Byron Donalds, or somebody else? Leave your comment on the YouTube live chat. Hannah's watching those as they come through and is going to feature your results at the end of this show at 2:45, which we do each and every day to make sure that we get your opinions, your thoughts on those issues at hand in as part of the conversation. We see that Kevin McCarthy has failed his 8th ballot for the speakership. I don't see this going anywhere if it doesn't go through Kevin McCarthy. Kevin McCarthy will have a decision to make to keep going or to step down. I don't see him stepping down yet. And I would assume that this is going to go at least through the weekend before he steps aside, if he were to step aside, to allow somebody else the opportunity to coalesce the votes. But I can't imagine that he's going to step aside without blessing the person who is going to kind of take the reins from him. Because I don't necessarily think that Kevin McCarthy is going to step down and then throw his support behind the person or the people who are opposing him right now. So we continue to watch and wait to see what happens next. And Donald Trump got a vote today on the House. That was interesting. From Matt Gaetz, which is very interesting because Matt Gaetz, Donald Trump endorsed Kevin McCarthy. Donald Trump said, hey, folks, get behind Kevin McCarthy. You need to support Kevin McCarthy. But Matt Gaetz's response was something to the effect of his Donald Trump's endorsement of Kevin McCarthy changes Matt Gaetz's opinion neither of Kevin McCarthy or of Donald Trump. So he's like, I still no on Kevin McCarthy. Name for me, Brad and Ryan, name for me a win for Donald Trump politically since he's been out of office.
J.D. Vance, I would say, in Ohio.
That's not a win for Trump. That's a J.D.
Well, he endorsed him in the primary, and then he won easily in the general.
And we're not necessarily talking about, people that he endorsed to win.
No,
but just
because
like
for every
political
J.D. Vance, I can give you a Carrie Lake and
yeah. So you're talking about for him personally?
Yeah.
Herschel Walker.
Yeah.
Dr. Oz.
Right.
There's a lot.
Yes.
I'm talking about for him. Name for me a Donald Trump political win since he's been out of office.
Since he's been out of office.
I'm making it super broad.
The only thing that I can think of, and I don't even know if he would claim this, is Roe v. Wade being overturned because those were his justices that he put in.
It's a good one.
But he kind of he disavowed it. So
he didn't disavow. He did not disavow his Supreme Court justice victory on Roe v. Wade. And as a matter of fact, we saw him in person in Illinois. Because that happened the day before, right? Didn't it come out on Friday and we saw him on Saturday?
Yeah, that's right.
It was like the first public appearance that he had made. And he was very possessive of that victory.
Yes, he was.
That's a good one. However, this past weekend, he said that the midterm election loss was because of those pro-lifers. So, anything else?
I just did the tax returns thing. That's not really a win for him, though. It's just not a loss.
Yes, it's a not loss.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'd say he raised a pretty good amount of money for the first year he was out. And then
what did he do
with
that money?
Not enough in the midterms. So that's a political win for him. He's got more money. But that didn't work out for the Republicans, and it's very disappointing what he did with that money. But that's top of mind, that's about what I could say have been his winning streak record. That's the stuff. Brad?
I got the Supreme Court win, and that was it. So any of those wins that his justice, any of the big cases that his justices have been a major part of, I think, are wins for Donald Trump. And that's, like, to me, that's his legacy.
That's why I voted for him in 2016.
That's why I voted for him in 2016.
Can you think of any losses?
I mean, Mar-a-Lago has been terrible. Everybody coming after him, the attorney general from New York, he's just in constant legal scrutiny. So it's set up that he's going to lose.
So.
Yeah, it's set up that he loses even when he wins because they just run him through the mill. So even if he comes out the victorious side of a lawsuit, it doesn't matter. They made him spend a bunch of money.
A win for him on these lawsuits is the lawsuit gets thrown out and nobody covers it.
Yeah. So that's terrible. And that stuff he's been dealing with since he was in office, and every single minute he's been out of office, it has not stopped.
So you're saying political losses? And these can be self-inflicted, right?
They usually are.
Maybe having dinner with two certain people that he shouldn't have had dinner with.
100%.
That's a loss. I think attacking Ron DeSantis when he did, that was a loss. Trying to take credit. When he tried to take credit for DeSantis' victory in Florida the second time around, which he was, no doubt, his push helped push DeSantis over the top when he beat Gillum. Gillum? I don't remember.
Gillum.
But
Andrew.
Trying to take credit for what was clearly Ron DeSantis' policies and leadership in the second governor's race made Donald Trump look petty and
nobody was asking the question.
Nobody.
That he was pounding the table.
So it makes him look like he was sitting there like angsty going, oh gosh, he doesn't need, I need people to know this is me, not him.
Hetty Jams on YouTube says this might not be within your criteria, but the subpoena was dropped. The Mar-a-Lago raid was a nothing. Some of the Twitter files, maybe. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that those qualify as wins, but they're all reactions to the constant, incessant attacks that are happening to him. Man, if I were Donald Trump, I would be as mad as he is. I would feel as hosed as he does.
You remember how mad it seemed that even some moderate people in America were the day after the Mar-a-Lago raid? That is an appropriate reaction.
Who is mad about what?
About the fact that the FBI even did it. There were people yelling about that and saying, there better be something here or else. And there hasn't been.
Well, if you drag it out long enough, then that anger cools.
Everybody
it's never about the actual instance. When did that happen?
Oh, gosh. August?
Late August, early September.
Right before the election. How was everything going in the country against the Democrats?
Mm-hmm.
Economy was crapping out. Everything was moving in the Republican favor. We were talking about a red wave. Then we were talking about a red tsunami. And then we were all like super drunk on the idea of a red tsunami. It didn't happen. Did it not happen because Donald Trump came back in the news right before the election? I don't know. But it does have a factor. It does remind everybody he exists. And the Democrats, in my opinion, are going to win against Donald Trump every single time they can bring him into focus.
And to your point where you were talking about if you were Donald Trump, you'd be as mad as he is. I truly believe in my heart of hearts that whenever he ran for president in 2016, he was running because he wanted to make the country great. He wanted to make the country better. He wanted to improve the country. And I know there are a lot of people out there like, oh, he was doing it for his own gain. Really? What was the gain that he got out of that, personally? Outside of name recognition and making, 51% of the country hate him with a passion? Where's the W in that? When we looked at his tax returns, did he make money or lose money while he was president?
He lost money.
Lots
he
of
lost money. What was the advantage to him in all of that?
People would say servicing his ego, as if Donald Trump's the first president to have a big ego to service.
Oh, my gosh.
Who did he replace?
Well, I think your point is valid, though, and it's the one reason that I pause about Trump 2024, because I'll look at a lot of statistical analysis about his numbers with certain voting groups and things from 2020 and 2016.
Polls?
Well, no, these are past.
Is that what?
They're not predictive.
Have you changed? Okay.
These are
reflective.
Statistics.
I was going to say you can't change the words on this show. I'm going to look at some predictive statistical analysis.
These are in fact not predictive. They're just saying these were the facts for his two elections, and here's where the Democrat Party was in 2016. Here's where they were in 2020, and it's the one thing that even even staunch supporters of him statistically with voter blocks say, yeah, that's a concern. And it's the one concern I have going into 2024, that if he's the nominee, it's not that he won't get a tremendous amount of votes, because I really believe he will. It's that he galvanizes the other side.
It doesn't matter if it's tremendous.
Yes.
If the other side is tremendouser.
The other side will turn out against him no matter what now. And that is what concerns me numerically going into 2024.
Does the red wave happen if there's no raid on Mar-a-Lago and Donald Trump's not in the mainstream news and Donald Trump doesn't play in the primaries? Does the red wave happen?
No. I still think it's Roe versus Wade related.
I think it's bigger than this. I don't know that it's the big wave that everybody was talking about in the days leading up to it, but I think it's bigger than what it turned out to be.
What do you mean? You're saying the red wave
is
Republicans win more.
More. They win more. I don't know if you want to. I think that the Republicans actually take the Senate. And, I think a lot of what's wrong with where we were, I know you like to say the Roe v. Wade thing. I think that only applies in areas where stuff for Roe v. Wade was on the ballot because it's a states' right issue. And I think what we saw was a big part of the redistricting from the 2020 census.
If you are defending after post-primary, if your race is now about your connection and relation to MAGA, to Trump, even if you are 100% America first, you don't have to have a MAGA hat to be America first or to be super pro-Trump. I give you one Kevin McCarthy, who is impressively MAGA and is endorsed by the guy who made the whole movement, not getting the votes from the people who are supposedly the MAGA people. It's a very, very interesting web that we weave. This is why I bring this conversation out in the open, because I think the scariest thing right now for people on the political landscape, and a lot of people in my seat where you get to lead a conversation about politics, it is very scary to be perceived wholly on one side of the aisle or the other within the Republican Party when it comes to Trump. The dividing line, the distance between the two sides is not traversable. If you establish yourself on one side, you are seen as a lunatic by the other within the Republican Party. So if I say I'm ultra mega super tremendous or mega, that means something to people, good or bad, both sides. If I question anything that has to do with Donald Trump, then I will never, ever be able to dine with the ultra super mega genius, level experience MAGA people. But that's not the way the real world works. I said in the segment before that if Adam Kinzinger runs against J.B. Pritzker for King of Illinois, if Adam Kinzinger ends up being the Republican nominee for governor of Illinois and he's running against J.B. Pritzker, I'm going to push for Adam Kinzinger to win that election. I disagree with Adam Kinzinger on a lot of things. On policy, we're probably closely in line. On politics, no. But if Joe Biden and Donald Trump are running against each other, of course I'm supporting Donald Trump in that issue. As much as I possibly can. I've seen the man in person twice. I voted for him twice, one reluctantly in 2016. But the idea that I might support somebody else other than Trump because I think it's better for the country going forward should not exclude me from being in welcomed company when it comes to agreeing on virtually every policy that exists on the conservative side of the aisle. We've heard this a lot lately. Ronald Reagan said that, the person who agrees with you 80% of the time, that's your friend. I have a lot of friends who we don't agree with 80% of the time, but we still find a way to have a really great, strong friendship. But I think that one of the scariest things potentially in talk radio right now is to challenge the status quo of if it's conservative talk radio right now, if it's deemed conservative talk radio, then you're Trump people. We get challenges on our live chat every day from people on stuff we're talking about that has nothing to do with Trump, and they always bring Trump up because they know that we are on 97.1, which is, of course, St. Louis's home for conservative talk. We support Republican conservative values on this show. It's our personal opinion and our perspective. I don't care if you disagree with me. I love the conversation. But the presumption is that if Donald Trump speaks it into existence, that we, treat it as gospel. It's just not true. I probably agree with more than 80% of Donald Trump. But there's a consequential 15% of that I don't know can actually win a second term. And if you factor in that Donald Trump has endorsed Kevin McCarthy, you got to really think about that. What connection? Why step into the fray to have your voice be heard, President Trump, on Kevin McCarthy? How many people in Congress, elected into Congress, how many people have been swayed by Donald Trump's endorsement of Kevin McCarthy?
0.
None. Where does this move us down the line into getting America first back front and center? The Make America Great Again mentality, front and center. Is Donald Trump the only person who can win re-election in 2024 and clean house the way it absolutely needs to be clean? And if you didn't think it needed to be clean before, you must not have read any of the Twitter files if you still don't think it needs to be clean right now. It is gross over there on Capitol Hill. Is Donald Trump the only person who can effectively make those changes? I just don't think he is. I think he could effectively make those changes. My question is, can he get behind the Resolute desk again? I'm looking for a win. I'm praying for a win. I'm hoping for a win. What do I need to do to help contribute to that win? I don't see it happening right now. Maybe something will change. Can you think any more wins that he's had?
Yeah, the big one for him, and this is debatable whether this is socially a win or not, was Truth Social. Truth Social has made him a lot of money, and he uses it all the time. That's a win for him personally. Politically, it's not making a huge difference, so I don't know whether you could...
When was the last time you checked Truth Social?
Never. I mean,
Brad?
A year.
I have updates on, but I don't know.
Do you have an account?
Mm-hmm.
Ryan, you have an account?
Yeah.
Brad?
I do.
So do I.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not opposed to it. But if we can't talk about it because we're scared to it, then send me home. I'll play some Mario Party.
You're talking about the concept of Trump. You're not opposed to it. You just
100% not opposed to it.
It's worth debating, though.
I'm not willing to stick my head in a hole in the ground because I'm afraid to say something that might be detrimental to the future of Donald Trump. Because I care about the future of the country, and if that involves Donald Trump, high five, let's go. If the future of this country, if the pathway isn't through Donald Trump, that doesn't mean that conservatism can't have an enormous renaissance in this country, which I think we're potentially on the precipice of. And I honestly think that the speaker battle could be a great catalyst for it, because everybody's having to ask, what are their differences? I wish the 20 would give us a better idea of what they are. Or just come out and say, he screwed me over so many times, I'll never vote for him.
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, I see that. I know plenty of people who have sat quietly and watched bad things happen to other people and not stood up and said something about it and sat there and waited for revenge. So I think that a lot of people would understand that and relate to that. I feel like the Donald Trump endorsement having literally no effect on anything here is enormous.
It does seem like we've entered a new era after the midterms where Donald Trump's word doesn't necessarily move mountains like it did.
It still could, but he's going to have to acknowledge his roles. He's still a kingmaker. The question is he the only king who he can make? And that's... I need more evidence that is actually the case. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, I'm going to talk to you about some words that we talked about, phrases that need to be banned by CNBC. I don't think they understand the premise of their own article. But some words, I think it was NPR, that NPR wants to get rid of. So we need to know how to be appropriate in this new age of 2023. We'll have that on the Annie Frey Show when we come back. Don't go away.
Yeah, you held my hand, but I tossed it. Didn't
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
So say Geronimo, say Geronimo, say Geronimo, say Geronimo, say Geronimo, say Geronimo, say Geronimo.
Are boomers more cringy than millennials? Is Gen Z more woke than Gen X? Is there any hope of bridging our generational divides? Odyssey's new podcast, It's Generational, brings together actual people from these 4 generations for real conversations about today's issues. I'm Lauren Barry, and I'm inviting you to join our mission to dump stereotypes in the trash and really understand each other.
I think these conversations just foretell such a better, richer emotional vocabulary for talking about these things.
Listen on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Thomas Helbig, the Retirement Advisory Group, having another seminar, and I would love to see you there. You got to make your schedule your appointment there with them, or just your presence, reserve your seat, I should say, at the January 24th. It's a Tuesday at the Plaza Frontenac Hilton. Protecting Your Retirement educational event. I will be there. I usually show up as close to 6 as I possibly can and try to meet each and every one of you so that we can say hello. It's one of those great opportunities that we have to see one another. And it's a free opportunity for you with snacks to learn what Thomas Helbig, Bob Kershaw, the family business and Retirement Advisory Group, what they can do for you. Give them a call to reserve your spot. Bring a friend and get there early so that I can say hi to you because I want to meet you. 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494. You reach out to them, say, I heard about this on the Annie Frey Show. I'd like to go to the seminar. It is, again, at January 24th, which is a Tuesday at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30 p.m. Seats are limited, so reserve your spot. You can find all the info online at retirementkey.com.
John Michael Montgomery. Live. The multiple Grammy, CMA, and ACM award winner. John Michael Montgomery with McBride and the Ride. Friday, October 20th at the Family Arena. Reserved seats on sale Friday at 10 a.m. at the Carroll House box office located at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster. John Michael Montgomery, live in concert.
Yes, Epics and Classics featuring John Anderson with the Band Geeks. May 9th, the Family Arena, Progressive Pioneers. Yes, Epics and Classics featuring John Anderson with the Band Geeks live. Reserved seat tickets on sale now at the Carroll House box office at the Family Arena or through Ticketmaster. Don't miss Yes, Epics and Classics featuring John Anderson with the Band Geeks.
What's your favorite 4-letter word? Chances are you've said it more than a few times dealing with this crazy world we live in. But at Compass Retirement Solutions, our 4-letter word of choice is hope. Hope for a better tomorrow. And hope that your retirement plans don't take a back seat. You've watched inflation soar, and maybe your retirement future feels a little uncertain right now. But all hope is not lost. Find out exactly how much risk you're still taking with your investments. Find out how you may be able to save big on taxes. And find out how having a written retirement plan just might give you the hope you've been looking for. Call today to set up a meeting. 314-373-1598. That's 314-373-1598. Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services but does not provide tax advice. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory firm in Missouri and Illinois. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
4 distinct seasons, sometimes within a single day. Dave Murray's got you covered with Air Comfort Service, heating and cooling weather every day on 97.1 FM Talk.
Your home for conservative talk.
My mind set on you. I got my mind set on you. I got
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
A whole lot of spending money. It's gonna take plenty of money to do it right, child. It's gonna take time.
Well, we always want to be broad and fair and balanced, which is not really true. This show is just about my opinions on everything. It's so great.
You're very fair to yourself, though.
I am. What you should have said was CNBC. What a dumb article. Very rarely do I read an article that's so dumb I'm like, I have to tell everybody about this.
You're talking about the one you talked about last hour?
Yeah.
I listened to that whole segment.
Did it make you mad?
And I'm going, what the heck? Somebody wrote this?
What you did was you read the article from CNBC on the air. What you should have done is not read the article from CNBC on the air.
It was either the exact opposite or what you should have done was read the CNBC article on the air and then also not. Like it was, what are you talking about?
If you missed it, we talked at about 1:45, I think it was. The CNBC article I came across, and it was just so stupid, I had to read it on the air. Remove these 10 toxic phrases from your vocabulary, say career experts. They're cold and belittling. So they're like, this is how you talk in a less cold and less belittling way. But you'll notice a trend here. Like number one is we've always done it this way. What to say instead? We've always done it this way, but let's see if it's time to change practices. That's changing the decision. That's not even the.
Why say the first part of the phrase at all?
I'm going to write a new article in response to this. Number two, back in my day, we had it worse. What to say instead? Back in my day, we had it much worse, and I'm so glad it's better for you. What can we change to make it even better?
So
that's exactly how boomers talk.
2 in a row of just say the same phrase, but then afterwards go, but I don't know.
But I'm an idiot. You're right.
Yeah.
This is my favorite. Number 4. We went with X person because they have more experience. What to say instead? X person has more experience and will have other opportunities. We went with Y person based on their strong potential. I hate this thing. I'm not doing it again.
What?
It's just stupid. CNBC. You do better. Isn't that something people say? Do better.
Do better. Exclamation point.
What you should say is, you suck.
Do better, but I don't know.
I don't know.
Or do what you're doing.
Or do what you're doing. That doesn't really matter.
So we go to NPR.
Oh, yeah, new list.
Mm-hmm. I think this is from STL NPR, so I don't know.
Ooh. Good.
Listen, if those people are mad about it, they are not listening right now.
Now, if those people either listen to us all the time or don't know we exist.
Becky Sullivan, I'll give her credit for this article.
Hi, Becky.
This is a way better article than the CNBC one. So
sure, they might be our neighbors.
High five, neighbors. NPR pals. An inflection point for goats.
What?
Please quit these banished words moving forward. So these are words. Here's the full list of a school's banished word for this year. So this is, again, npr.org is where I'm getting this from. It says, when was the last time you called someone a goat?
Never.
All caps. Greatest of all time.
Oh, I didn't know what that means.
Are you serious?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, my
kidding.
gosh.
I thought people were just calling me an animal.
Well, those people are. Meh.
You are the goat at football, Ryan. And I mean that in a smaller, lowercase way. Oh, okay.
Probably too recently, say the faculty of Lake Superior State University, the Michigan college that releases an annual list of words that they say deserve to be banished from our vocabularies over, quote, misuse, overuse, and uselessness. And I like words. I like vocabulary. I like improving my vocabulary. My vernacular, some might say.
Mm-hmm. You're very succinct at it.
Increasing your lexicon.
Stop it. Some might say I'm the goat. I don't know.
You're kind of a goat at it.
I already bleated once on the show. That's enough. The first word is goat. I agree. NPR. I think you get this right.
Uppercase or lowercase?
You're still allowed to reference the animal. Should you see a goat, you're not like, that is a
I call
animal
it
looks like a sheep.
Male-leaning sheep.
You can milk it.
Let's see.
Can I have some of your cheese, sir?
I don't think that's how you talk to goats, but it's probably how you talk to goats.
Would you like to eat this can?
Do you get sick of that, Brad? You're in the sports world.
Yeah, I'm in the sports world, and the GOAT always to me means either Yadier Molina or Michael Jordan. And
some might say that it would be Kobe. Some might say it would be LeBron.
Yeah, those two people would be wrong, but that's a conversation for a different day. Yeah, I'm done with it. It doesn't save me any time.
Does anybody use the phrase goat outside of sports? Becomes super nerdy then.
Not.
You were the goat.
Not unironically.
Grocery bagger.
This guy's the goat. Look at him.
Speed, efficiency.
He talks to you a little bit, but not a ton.
Cans on the bottom, chips on the top.
Make sure you know you've been seen. Will you please compliment your grocery bagger the next time you see him?
Call him the goat.
Yes.
Tell him, no, seriously, let's start a thing. Be overly but appropriately kind and friendly to your grocery bagger and tell him the Annie-Fry Show says hello.
Ooh, yeah. Say out loud, #Annie-Fry.
Yes.
To your grocery bagger.
Probably have to explain that one. Number 2, inflection point. This has got to be something that is like
is this business office?
I was going to say industrial
lingo. Inflection point. I don't hear this a ton.
Number 3, quiet quitting. The idea of quiet quitting. What?
I'm with that.
You're sending it out the door.
Out you go.
Explain quiet quitting.
Quiet quitting is like doing the bare minimum at your job without actually quitting. So you look at it and you say, I'm not getting paid enough here, so I'm going to do what I have deemed the appropriate amount of work for the amount of money I'm getting paid.
So Ryan Wiggins?
I'm not going to acknowledge that. I read an article the other day about quiet quitting that says that people are doing
Was it a how-to?
Yeah.
Was it by CNBC?
I love this idea.
I love this job. What
Am
you
I
should
already
do
doing this?
is literally nothing.
How do I take this to a lower level than I already am? I saw an
Did your
article
voice
that
just
people.
crack?
I'm going through puberty.
It kind of makes me question if you are quiet quitting. He got real nervous. His voice started to
I'm
shake.
not doing quiet quitting, Steve. I'm fine. I'm working hard. I'm also not drunk.
By the way, Ryan needs approximately 3 sips of any alcohol, and he is.
Oh my gosh!
I think he just needs to walk by it. It's like an open bottle of something.
It's pathetic. I went to a soccer game the other night, and one of the other dads bought me a beer, and I'm not kidding. I got through maybe a quarter of it, and I was like, "Let's talk about your life, man."
Ryan, did you look at him like this and go,
Yeah, no kidding.
I'm drunk?
No, I only do that to you.
Your problem is that you just are so emphatically out about it.
Yeah, it's true.
That's the first lesson you
I
need
don't
to
have
learn.
anything to hide, so I couldn't quiet quit because I just tell you.
Maybe we should suggest to you the things that you should try hiding.
You should
like,
do
for
that.
instance, 2 sips of beer, and you're like, I can't handle it.
Well,
Let's
noted.
party. We're going streaking.
No, but the problem is all of those rules.
Just that one time, though.
When you tell me them and I get drunk, I don't care about those rules anymore. I lose the inhibitions.
Well, you need to slow down on your sips of Bud Light.
I do.
Well,
No kidding. And it was Blue Moon, by the way.
Maybe not wait until you're disinhibited to,
Speaking of vocabulary.
making, yeah, making your decisions before that, and then just not doing it.
I don't know what that means.
Number 4.
Drunk Ryan's not going to remember that.
Number 4. You're not drunk. That's the problem.
Yeah. What I'm saying
yes,
is,
I am.
No.
what
You're not.
Not right now.
what I'm saying
I
is
drink.
don't wait until you're drunk, Ryan, to make decisions.
Drunk Ryan isn't going to remember any of those decisions.
So like you can make the decision not to be drunk, Ryan.
Number 4.
Gaslighting.
Yeah, please get rid of it.
Stop. No. Say it more because it's happening so much.
I don't understand the word.
Say it more.
Well, just because you don't understand it when people stop talking about it.
People overuse it who also don't kind of understand it.
I think you're right.
You don't understand it. You're one of them.
Explain it. That's why I don't use it. So I want it to go away.
It's like making somebody believe something exists or doesn't exist that you're actually doing to them.
Okay.
You don't get it.
I'm not going to remember this.
Gaslighting would
Are
be
you
like
drunk right
I'm
now?
drunk. It doesn't matter.
like if you were in an abusive relationship, gaslighting would be making the person who's being abused believe it's something that they are doing or it's their fault.
Listen, I'm hearing a whole
Manipulate
lot of
someone.
blah, 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 blah.
Shush. Manipulate someone using psychological methods into questioning their own sanity or powers of reasoning. It takes somebody. You abuse them, like you said, psychologically, maybe physically. You abuse somebody and manipulate them so that their experience, they think that reality is a certain way, and you've put them into that position. This is essentially all of what the Twitter files have done to the country, where they have manipulated the situation. People are talking about, oh, I'm shadow banned, I'm shadow banned, I'm shadow banned. They hold my tweets back. I got blocked because of political reasons. No, you didn't. That's crazy. That doesn't happen. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, actually, in fact, it happened over and over and over again. The Twitter files are one big gaslight.
I would prefer that you just say all of what you just said, but not the word gaslight.
It sums it up better.
Like I would make you a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and I would say, this is creamy peanut butter. I know you like that. And you bite into it, and you're like, hey,
Moving
this is
forward.
crunchy.
That's number 5.
Really?
Yeah. This is where Ryan
Why does
talks
that need to
about
be
how that
banned?
was like a segue in radio, and it's a thing we do.
Well, you
He's
did a good
proud
job.
of me. Thank you.
I am
Moving
fine with
forward.
that phrase. What? That's just a normal phrase. That's
Moving
not,
forward is like, shut up. You know,
oh, really?
It's like,
like you just used it just now.
Didn't it feel better than Ryan? Stop.
Yeah, that's why I like it.
If she didn't do that, then she'd be gaslighting you, and we don't want to gaslight.
I don't even know what that means.
It's because he's drunk. So, number 5, moving forward, that is a way to say what we did, what just happened, what you just did. Nah. Moving forward, that's how you say that.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you get moving forwarded, you don't always feel real good about it.
Why do you have tape on your headphones?
Because they broke.
I can't. I'm so distracted by it.
I forgot that it was there until you said that.
Will you color them black?
I was thinking about it, getting some electrical tape.
It is the broadcaster.
It makes me look
the broadcaster equivalent of tape on your glasses.
I know.
It's black
it
with this
does look
big
stupid.
white tape around it. Every time I look, I'm like, all I'm thinking is, would you please just fix your headphones?
It looks
I'll
like
buy you new headphones.
I know. Like I've got a pocket protector, tape on my glasses.
I'm glad you talked about that because earlier in the show, off air, Ryan walked in and he goes, guys, I need to know what you think about this shirt. And I said, Ryan, I literally never think about your clothing.
Which is super insulting because I think about it every day. My clothing.
Careful. Weird. And I said, so I don't, you're dressed. It's great. And then later in the show, Brad brought it back up off the air. And Brad said that Ryan's shirt today is giving off major Fetterman vibes.
I want
and
you guys.
You need to stand up, dude. So people can see what you've been bringing to the show.
Your wish is my command.
Weird.
Turn your shoulders
That's
toward
actually
the camera.
the opposite of true also.
Shoulders.
My
both
wish
of
is
them.
never your command.
Just face the camera straight on, Ryan. And now look kind of goofy.
No, I'm going to stand like
what?
Andrew Lincoln does in The Walking Dead anytime he's doing lines.
Lines like?
No. Anytime he's reading, he's on camera, he's standing cockeyed. Like he can't face you. Andrew Lincoln.
I don't know what kind of lines we're doing.
Here's
Speaking of lines.
I'm drunk, it doesn't matter. Here's what I'm going to start doing.
Are those lines of cocaine
you
on your
guys
shirt
need
right
to,
now? They kind of do look
just
like
a charcoal shirt covered in drugs. What I wanted to do is every morning I'm going to start texting you a picture of a couple different shirts as options to get you thinking about it.
Absolutely not.
I'm going to gaslight you into thinking about my wardrobe.
It's not how it
use
works.
that word right?
Nope, you didn't.
Dang it.
Andrew Weber's a huge fan on the YouTube chat.
Thank you, Andrew.
Number 6, amazing. That shirt is amazing.
Thank you. Is that the word is amazing?
Mm-hmm.
That you can't retire amazing. It's just a word.
Think about the word amazing, though. To be amazed. It's a pretty magnificent word.
Sure.
It's overused.
It's overused in a Ninja Turtle bodacious, awesome way.
Bodacious is underused. Not today. I think we've met the quote.
There's the title for the hour, Hannah.
Bodacious.
Bodacious. No, you can't retire amazing. People may overuse it, but so what?
Number 7, the phrase, does that make sense? I use that.
All the time.
Yeah. But I want to make sure I'm clear.
But you can't say, am I clear? Because that carries with
you
it
sound like a
different
jerk.
I bet
too.
CNBC thinks you can.
CNBC would just contradict whatever.
Does that
you
make
said.
sense, Brad? Am I clear? That's basically the difference. But does that make sense? I can say something, especially if it's on like in a message, and follow up and be like, does that make sense? And that's usually, honestly, the reason why I say, does that make sense, is usually because I want people to, like, there are things that I will from time to time ask people to do that I don't necessarily explain. And there's not an explanation needed. It just needs to get done. But if I care that the person understands the why, and Brad, if I say that to you, you're new to radio, but you're very good at it, and you've been doing it now for a year. So you are more accomplished than a lot of people who have been in radio for a very long time. But if I say, does that make sense? I don't mean it to be like head patty. So
I don't take it that way either. Okay. Like when you learn the way people talk, you can then put everything in the correct context and you allow them to define it.
Ryan, that shirt looks like it has lines of cocaine on it. Does that make sense?
I want you to know that in the future, anytime you ask me that question in person, I'm going to say no.
I don't think I ever ask you that question.
I think that's on purpose. Because every time, no, explain.
Number
no
8, irregardless.
Oh,
that's got to go. Yeah, that's bad grammar. Go.
It's regardless.
Gone. Brad, let's get it out of here.
Yeah.
Me and you, let's go.
Let's grab it by the collar and its belt and just toss it out on the side
Grab
on
a
his
bull
face.
by the horns and you ride that thing all the way to hell.
No. No, what are you doing?
Brad just jumped off the irregardless train.
Yeah, it's like whoa.
That's how committed I am, Brad. How far are you going with your
Ryan's like that cowboy at the end of that Dr. No movie, riding that thing.
You talking about how I learned to stop worrying and love the bomb?
This thing I love about this show. This show is a wild ride.
Dr. Strangelove, is that what you're talking about? You said the wrong movie.
Dr. No's the James Bond movie, isn't it?
No. No.
You know, but you knew what I was talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
Number 9, absolutely.
No, that stays too.
I got called out on using that word.
By who?
A listener. Ryan got criticized one time on the internet. He's like, guys, what's going on here?
This is tough.
At the beginning of the show, Brad can attest to this. It's on Twitch. Someone said... Do you want to tell the story?
I feel bad.
Let's hold it.
Because they're making fun of you.
No, they weren't.
Oh, they're making fun of me?
No! They're making fun of me.
Then let's hear it.
I get criticized in the most inventive, awful ways every day.
That's cool.
Ryan gets criticized one day.
Somebody didn't like my belt. I'm like, can you take that down?
We'll tell the story about what
Twitch.
people accused me of earlier on the show, or just of existing. I'll tell you that before we get to the poll in the next break. So you're gonna want to hear this. It was a new one.
I'm looking forward to it.
It was a
creative slam on you.
A new, innovative, never seen before insult to me.
It's gonna be something like "shut up."
Well, kind of hoping. The last one is "it is what it is."
I kind of like that one. You can leave that one alone.
I like it.
It is
yeah.
what it is.
Yeah, you know, leave it. Leave it. It is what it is.
Leave it.
I think that's my mom's least favorite phrase. But sometimes
it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah,
is what it is.
It's a fact. It's like wherever you go, there you are.
Well, it is what it is means you're not going to change it. Get used to it. And I'm okay with that.
We could say that too, I guess.
Well, yeah, and it includes this idea of like you've done everything you can.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Let's keep it.
So, irregardless, you guys are still kind of iffy on that?
No. The word's gone. I'm just not riding it like a bull to the hell.
The hell.
All right. The newest, meanest insult. I don't know if it's mean. I guess it's probably mean of me to say that this insult was mean. Probably. Might get in trouble for that. So let's put a break in between so people don't connect the two. And I will tell you about today's insult to myself. And then we'll give you the results to today's YouTube live chat poll. Who do you support for speaker? Kevin McCarthy, Hakeem Jeffries, Byron Donalds, or somebody else? Give us your vote on the Annie Frey YouTube channel, and we'll be back with the results. And Hannah, in a minute. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFreyShow.
I got my mind set on you.
I'm Brian Westbrook with Coalition Life. Over the past decade, Coalition Life has served thousands of women in crisis pregnancies, helping to save the lives of the children that they carry. Help us build a better community while also reducing or completely eliminating your Missouri taxes with a 70% tax credit. A $1,000 donation today to help these women could cost you as little as $141 out of pocket. Learn more at coalitionlife.com, coalitionlife.com. Thank you.
Stewart's American Mortgage, the bagel loan guy. Why is it called the bagel loan when you do a mortgage or a mortgage refinance with Stewie? Well, he called it the bagel loan because it looks like a zero. A bagel looks like a zero. And when you use the bagel loan for your mortgage, you pay zero in fees that every other lender out there is going to charge you for. So it's smart business to work with Stewart's American Mortgage. And it's good business, too, because he has an entire business model based on that old-fashioned way of doing business with somebody where when you call or text 314-324-4440, you are going to work directly with Stewie. That's his cell phone number, 314-324-4440. If you Google the bagel loan, you're going to get directed right to their website and save money on your cash-out refinance that's going to maybe help you pay off some high-interest credit card debt, to do a necessary repair on the home, or if you want to just get, if you're buying a house, get your mortgage through Stewie. 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan. NMLS number 226715.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. Now that we have started a new year, think about ways you can help the environment. First, make the switch to green soaps and personal products and green cleaning products for the sink and shower. Use towels made from materials like organic cotton. And finally, make the switch to LED lights, which can last for many years and use very little power. When we each share our one thing, it becomes 100 things, 1,000 things, 1,000,000 things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Annie Frey here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friend Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you strategies on how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the Annie Frey Show. You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Make sure you're heating your home safely this winter with a heating system check. And for all other heating services, repairs, or if you need a new heating or HVAC system, visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
State Senator Mary Elizabeth Coleman is with us.
I think you've got a freshman class in the Senate and newly elected House members who are committed to try to get to work for the people.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We're glad you're here. Just got a little education today on the show from CNBC, the phrases that you're not supposed to use anymore, and how you should basically change everything you're doing in your life. And then we talked about NPR and the different words that they want to retire, one of them being irregardless. And if you missed it, Brad and Ryan, specifically Ryan, have very strong feelings.
Very strong feelings.
Irregardless of that, let's move on to the insult.
We are canceled.
I specifically got a new level of insult. I think it was meant to be an insult. That's the way I read it, Brad.
Yeah, at first I wasn't sure, and I was like, oh, I hope she doesn't see that. But anyway.
Yeah.
So
the skin is thick.
We're on Twitch, and Twitch doesn't always have a lot of viewers. But if you want to go to twitch.tv/Annie Frey Show.
Yeah, go follow us anyway.
Go follow us over there. That way, if something happens to our YouTube or Facebook, you can find us over there.
Totally
so anyway,
possible.
when somebody pops in, because Twitch will do that, people just pop in. They'll be like, hi. Well, big part of Twitch is interaction. So I always try to say hi back. So this person popped in. Their name is Queen Bree B. So we'll call them Queen from here on out. And so they popped in. They said hi. And I said, hello. Dash Brad, because I always
if it's not if nobody is indicating this is Brad or this is Hannah, then
it just says Annie Frey Show.
Yeah.
Do we want to put these up on the screen as we're doing it? No. Okay. So they go. They respond back. Who's Brad? And because at the time you were interviewing, I believe, Hans von Spakovsky, if my memory serves me correctly, I'm like, I'm not on the camera right now. I'm the guy in the gray jacket. When we put my camera back on, I'm the executive producer. And then I said, Annie's on right now. She is the host. And the person responded, oh, neat. A transgender host is nice.
I saw that. I was out there when I saw that come through.
So I'm like, I look at this and like my initial reaction is like, oh, well,
me and Hannah were laughing.
Maybe they're being sincere.
It's because Ryan Wiggins is Queen.
Yeah. It was me. Oh, neat, a transgender host.
And so I was like, well, maybe this person's confused. And so I said, LOL, we're two separate people. Mm-hmm. Maybe they're thinking that it's like an alternate personality or something like that.
Just a common thing people think.
It's Twitch.
You never know.
So are you? They responded. And then I said, nope.
No.
Then they doubled down. But yeah, it's cool of you to have a transgender host.
So So you
Yeah,
is
me.
what they're talking about.
Me.
Yes.
I
and so
appear to be transgender to this individual.
about this time, I start hearing clicking on the keyboard from Annie's spot. So
Yeah.
Annie had noticed.
Oh, this was right at the end of Hans.
Yeah.
I know when that happened.
Yes.
Because I
So-
saw you have a look on it.
So I'll let Annie finish the story because this
I'm
is
not
where
there.
she came in.
You do it. This is your story right now. We gotta hurry. The show's almost over.
Yeah.
So she said, Annie said, "Hi, Queen. This is Annie. I identify as cis female. Thank you for respecting that." With the winky
You
face.
use their language.
I mean, I've been insulted in many ways. I'm not insulted
Okay,
by that.
read really quick what they
she
replied with.
Said, "Okay, sorry you look trans if if I upset you."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I didn't see the end of that.
And then
Sorry you look trans.
Annie said, "It's okay. A good lesson in not looking at someone and assuming their identity. It's a problematic part of our society. I'm glad to see that we're working to change that about yourself."
Let's get to the poll before we jet.
That's pretty funny.
Okay.
That's like the only comments other than our friend Rise of Darkness who showed up on Twitch today. That guy got more airtime than anybody who listens to the show.
All right, really quick. Who do you support for speaker? Kevin McCarthy, Hakeem, Jeffries, Byron Donalds, not Daniels, or someone else. 36% of the people said Kevin McCarthy. 37% of the people said someone else. 19% say Byron Donalds, and 8% say Hakeem Jeffries.
If Kevin McCarthy and Byron Donalds formed a coalition speakership, they'd be McDonald's. I saw that on Twitter yesterday. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's good. I like it.
They have a 2-for-1 special. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Lots to talk about. Friday is our favorite, but this next show on the station, you stick around for the Mark Reardon Show. He's coming up next.
If you own a home in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is without any inspections or the need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes, stlouis.com at 314-782-8000 and get your cash